you from the Radio for One studios in Franklin, Michigan. Welcome to the Detroit Cast.
Big fan.
A show not just free of charge, but free of FCC regulations.
Thank you for your support of the Detroit Cast.
Oh, there it is.
And without further delay, it's showtime. Please welcome the Detroit Cast. Here are your hosts, Mike and Jay.
Alrighty. Welcome, everybody, to the Detroit Cast on a Thursday with Mike and Jay. Big E, of course, is here. McCard is here. How are you, buddy?
Well, Mike, quite well.
Yeah?
Yeah, happy to be here. Thanks for including me.
Yeah, that sounds like a phone-it-in answer.
No.
I really feel like that was kind of a phone-it-in answer.
Mike, I'm always honest with you when you ask me that.
Yeah.
I'm well.
Yeah. Anything exciting today?
Lots of stuff, yeah.
Yeah. I
Here
saw
and
the
there.
video you posted. I like the video you posted.
Oh, Cooking with Russ.
Yes.
Yeah.
Is that going to be a series?
We'll see where it goes, Mike.
Yeah. Got any negotiations on the table? It was highly watchable. I enjoyed it. So
Russ likes to cook, so we'll definitely have an episode 2.
Yeah. We're hanging by. We're waiting for J. Chris Newberg to get here, who we've talked about the last few days. He's going to be at Ridley's in Royal Oak this weekend. Jay and I, E, will all be out there on Saturday night. So he'll be in town tonight if you're listening to this Thursday morning, Friday and Saturday. But we'll get into it with him. He should be here shortly. Dare I say a big show on a Thursday? A lot to get to. Rosie O'Donnell's daughter found safe and sound.
We barely knew she was missing.
I was going to say, I didn't even know she was missing. Or that she had a daughter. But no, I'm just kidding. How does she have one?
What's that?
Via penis?
Via penis at some point in the process. There
All
was
sorts
a
of
penis
adoption
involved.
opportunities out there.
That's true. I think the one that was missing, there was a penis involved. I mean, with all of them, there was a penis involved at some point.
Who was the one that used David Crosby? Was it
That was the
Melissa Etheridge?
Melissa Etheridge, yeah.
Okay.
The country singer, rock singer, whatever she is.
Yeah, rock, I would say.
Suppose.
Rock, quote unquote.
Yeah. So, yeah, we'll get into her story a little bit later if we have time. We got a hypnotizing attorney.
Yeah, that's different.
Totally different.
Never thought of that angle.
Yeah, we'll have to get E's input because E's the only one in the room, I believe, that's actually been hypnotized. So we'll ask him what he thinks about that. Also, a judge.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
There are allegations, Mike.
They are allegations. However, I really don't see a problem with this. I got to be honest with you. I like the way this guy operates. We'll get into another white-black activist. Black Lives Matter one.
Yeah, it kind of reminds you of Rachel Dolan's, right?
Dolezal?
Dolezal. Dolan's, yeah.
Totally. Yeah, Mickey's daughter.
Right. Mickey Dolan's.
Ashley Madison leak. Boy, they weren't kidding. The leak has gone public.
Yeah.
Not good. Jose and Jose B, an update for
That's
listeners
awesome.
of this
He's
show.
back in the news.
Mi amigo.
Those little sons of bitches.
Exactly. But how could we start today's show without Jared? Oof.
Oh, boy, Jared.
Oh, Jared.
The younger, the better. Was that the quote?
The younger, the better.
Damning.
Yeah. Yes. Jared Fogle has agreed to plead guilty to charges of child porn and traveling for sex with minors, including this 17-year-old escort that he took to the Plaza Hotel and the Ritz in New York.
I need an attorney, and I need one now.
According to documents released by the U.S. Attorney's Office, the 37-year-old has admitted to one count of travel to engage in illicit sexual conduct with a minor and one count of distribution and receipt of child porn. Among the allegations are that Fogle traveled to New York City to pay for sex acts with minors while he stayed in upscale hotels, and that he knowingly received child porn secretly produced by Russell Taylor.
Yeah.
So he had to have been dying, dude. When they knocked on his door, and remember when we saw him with the like raincoat on,
Yeah.
shuffling out, he had to know like it's over.
Yeah.
Game, set, match. It's done.
Wife and kids. You're Jared, the subway guy.
Yes. I still don't know at what point you would think you could possibly get away with this.
Yeah.
I just don't understand that. You're a public figure. How are you possibly going to get away with child porn as a public figure? That's just mind-blowing to me. Fogle's second wife, Katie, released a statement today saying that she's divorcing him. Obviously, I am extremely shocked and disappointed by the recent development involving Jared. I'm in the process of seeking a dissolution of the marriage. My focus is on the well-being of my children. So I don't think she'll have any problem with that divorce going through.
Are those kids hers from a prior marriage? Is that the deal?
I thought they were his. Yeah, she might have more. I'm not sure. But under the plea agreement filed by prosecutors this morning, they will not ask for a sentence greater than 12 and a half years, while Fogel's defense will not seek a prison term shorter than 5 years. And keep in mind, these are federal charges. So he will do just about every minute of whatever they sentence him to.
Poor guy.
There's not that time served where you get 10 years, you serve 3 and you're out. Yeah, he's really going to get hammered. And the judge could throw this out anyways and sentence him to much more than that.
Yeah.
Technically.
Andy has to pay a bunch of money, right? Restitution.
Yeah, which I thought was kind of weird.
So they've identified these victims.
They identified 14 girls, I guess, all girls, as far as I know, anyways.
God, what a windfall if you think about it.
Well, yeah, they're prostitutes.
Yeah.
They're like child prostitutes. How weird is that?
And all of a sudden, you get a call, knock on your door.
Yeah. By the way, that
Men in Black, and they're like,
that one dude you fucked that was really creepy. Turns out he's kind of famous.
Here's a check.
Yeah. Is that what they'll do? Clean, clear?
I don't know. I have no idea, dude.
I would assume they would. I think that's how that goes. He'll be required to register as a sex offender, undergo treatment for sexual disorders.
Waste of time.
Dude.
It's not going to get you anywhere.
No. I mean, seriously, haven't we decided that you can't rehabilitate something like that?
Got to go in that brain and clip something here and there.
Yeah. And as you said, Jay, he's ordered to pay $1.4 million in restitution, which is $100,000 for each of the 14 minors.
What'd you say his net worth was? Like 15
mil. Yeah. Which means his wife will take at least half right off the top, you would think, right?
Yeah.
In a divorce. And then 1.4 to these chicks. His lawyers are going to take, it's not going to leave him a ton. And he's done. I mean, there's no coming back from that. Like, this country loves second chances.
Oh, he was such a
comebacks.
tool bag as it was. Everybody
Yeah.
sort of shook their head at that guy anyway. Like,
Yeah.
fuck Jared.
Yeah.
There was nobody who was like a fan, right? Like, nobody liked that guy.
No, you're absolutely right.
And then you throw child porn on top
fan
of it.
of Jared.
Right.
You're just like, I just love those commercials.
Yeah, what a guy. What a story.
Yeah.
So compelling.
Well,
No,
that-
everybody was like, fuck him.
Yeah, douchebag.
Yeah.
Totally has that douchebag element to him. Anyway, in the wake of the news, Subway issued a statement, which is always good. Their statement, they tweeted out, "We no longer have a relationship with Jared and have no further comment."
That's it, huh?
Yeah.
Well, we don't know where they stand on child pornography.
Yeah, they weren't.
Yeah,
Given that, I mean, we don't know. It leaves
yeah.
some room for interpretation.
yeah. There's nothing in there about thoughts and prayers for
for
the victims.
Deeply dismayed by the charges.
Yeah, that's wow. Maybe they're pro child sex abuse. I don't know.
It's possible.
I mean, that's all you can deem from that. I mean, is this one of those cases, one of those rare cases where the old adage of all press is good press doesn't quite apply?
Yeah.
I mean, dude, Subway, there are more Subway locations than McDonald's.
Is that right?
Yes. They're the biggest chain in the world.
Wow,
They don't
I
make
had
as
no idea.
much. They don't make as much. And they say there's problems financially in a lot of those store locations, but there are technically more Subways than McDonald's.
Well, there's more and more of them going into gas stations all the time.
yeah, that's
Don't you feel
true.
gross getting anything from one of those? I feel like it's like less clean or something.
Yeah.
We've all done it, right, on a road trip, but
sure.
I always feel like,
Yeah, it always seems weird when they combine them
yeah,
and it's like a Subway and a Burger King. You're like,
yeah.
you can order from both menus. That always seems weird. So according to these newly released documents, Fogel's activities with these minors may have started, it sounds like, in 2007, which I wouldn't be surprised if it started much earlier than that. Maybe that's all as far back as they can go. And that some of the victims were as young as 13 and 14 years old.
Gross.
Yeah. Prosecutors state that Fogel knew that the children depicted were younger than 18, and he approved of the Taylor's side gig as this child porn producer. So he was well aware of it and approved of it. Beginning in 2007 and continuing until June of 2015. That means that was continuing after Russell was busted, right?
Yeah.
In June of 2015, I think he was busted before, or maybe it was right around them. Right around then, anyways. He used social media and websites containing ads for escorts to hire the services of sex workers. He repeatedly traveled from Indiana to New York to have sex with underage prostitutes. On one occasion, he hired this 17-year-old girl for sex, brought her to the Plaza Hotel,
Christ.
where he was staying as a guest.
Dude, I don't care what you're into. The idea of traveling for sex to me is so crazy.
Well, the way he would do it is this guy was, I mean, sinister. He would have business going on in New York, and so he would make these trysts around.
All right, so it was just like an NBA player or something coming to town,
right? So that
he's got his bitches in all his various locations.
Yeah, but if you looked at the paper trail, it wasn't like he was traveling for sex. It was like, I've got a very important business meeting regarding Subway and fat kids to deal with.
Regarding my fucking stupid commercials.
Yeah. He bangs this 17-year-old, and then he's telling her, I'll get you a finder's fee if you can hook me up with younger. And that's where he said the younger, the better.
Yeah, and he uses her as sort of a gateway to these younger ones and all kinds of shit in text, right, with her?
Yes.
Emails. Yeah.
He was telling her he would really make it worth her while if she could find him young teens for sex. The escort later emailed him 3 nude photos of herself showing her own genitalia. In January 2013, he again met up with this underage hooker in New York, this time taking her to the Ritz in exchange for cash. So he's banging her for cash. He also approached other escorts from Virginia, Missouri, and Nevada, asking to connect him to minors as young as 14 and 15. And to cover up, well, I mentioned that to cover up, that's when he would go, oh yeah, I've got other work going on. And he actually did have other work. Documents seized in the investigation into the former executive Russell Taylor. That is what really brought this dude down, that there were so many connections there. Mm-hmm. Between Russell Taylor and Fogel that it was easy for them to put it together. The FBI is talking about the messages that they seized from that chick. Remember we were talking about that where she was like, it seems like it's such a setup.
Yeah, that franchisee.
Yeah. Is this the same website you found that 16-year-old girl that you fucked? I still can't believe you only paid $100 for her.
I know why.
It was amazing.
Just
a total
just say, what are you talking about? And then maybe talk to her in person at some point, I suppose. But
yeah,
don't leave a trail.
What part of her ad made you think she was selling sex? You'll have to read them to see. She claims that she took that to management, those texts, and they didn't do shit about it. Yeah. How bad is that? Anyway, and if you remember going back to that Taylor dude, he was also trying to bang that chick's horse.
Yes, dude.
Remember that? He was trying to
there's an allegation he wanted the 3-way with somebody's horse.
Yeah. He wanted some chick that he was with and her to be able to bang this horse in a 3-way.
Oh, Mike.
Yeah. And then he was sending her pictures of his girl going down on a dog or something. It was that one too. Again, I go back to that's not a conversation you just open up out of the blue. You wouldn't think you could call someone that runs a stable and just start inquiring about banging one of their horses, right?
Yeah. How do you get there?
Well, I don't know. It leads me to believe that maybe, just maybe, that girl was into some wild shit too. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like that doesn't seem like a conversation starter.
No.
To me, anyways. Maybe I'm naive to how this stuff works, but yeah, that's nuts, dude.
Didn't we read something a while ago about Jared? His past when he was living at IU, being a fat ass, and
well,
before he started, eating the 6-inch turkey every day and the 4-foot veggie every day.
Yeah.
He was just way into porn. That was what his roommates and stuff said. He'd just sit all day and guard his porn videos.
Well, if you remember what he said was the reason that Subway started was because the Subway was the closest fast food, quote unquote, that he could get to because he was too paranoid that his porn would get
stolen
or
so
something.
He'd waddle the Subway, grab his 6-inch, and then waddle back as fast as he could so nobody would steal
it. Yeah, because Subway was the closest, and I think he was renting them for $1 each. And so but there he is.
You know what, dude, that Subway, the quote unquote one that supposedly started it all. My buddy, one of my buddies went to IU and I was visiting one time when we drove by. He's like, that's the Subway that supposedly Jared started walking to one day. But
really?
Yeah, we didn't talk about the porn situation, but we just talked about the Subway.
That is, God, I just can't imagine the feds busting into your shit and it's over.
Mm-hmm.
And then having to make that walk. He's in court today in a suit.
Yeah.
and walking out with his attorney and all the cameras around. Oh, just be so, what a bummer. Wouldn't you
Brutal.
just be thinking about your kids and your
Yeah.
wife and just, how did I get here?
I don't know. Maybe if you're that into that shit and that reckless, maybe you're just into yourself and you don't give a fuck about them. But you have to be like mourning your own life, right? Going, oh my God, my life is
Yeah.
over.
Yeah.
How am I going to watch porn now for 5.5 to 12 years?
So what do you think? Is that something that's just in those, someone like that? Like he was always into that. Obviously he was into hardcore porn shit. I mean, going back to college, like we all watched porn in college, but there's a difference between that and being the porn guy who's renting that stuff to other students.
Yeah.
That right there. But is that something where he wouldn't have been into that stuff then and then it just grew to this?
I don't know, man. I don't know any of the psychology behind it, but it seems to me that this shit's like a slippery slope. Like people start looking at it. We've talked about that a bunch of times. Like how much shit must have happened before you got caught fucking that pig?
Yeah.
You know, how much shit were you into? Crazy, deviant shit.
Yeah.
You saw it all, you did it all, you tried it all, and then finally you're
Here you
Yeah.
are.
fucking a pig, or in this guy's case, banging a 13-year-old girl.
And I wonder how reckless these guys get. That's probably more of a question for our buddy that works with the FBI dealing with a lot of this stuff.
Sure, it varies. I'm sure some of them are ultra fucking, concerned about that and really careful, and then I'm sure others are just open because they probably do it all the time. And
Yeah. See, I think the problem is
Oh.
you're at the mercy of other people. Like
yeah,
it's not just you that you're covering something up with. And in this digital world we live in, it's just not possible
Totally ignorant.
to cover up a trail. But I mean, it just shows how strong that pull is, I guess.
yeah, and it probably shows that, I think Aaron alluded to this, they're just undermanned. They're doing their best, but there's a lot of them out there who just get away with it for years. That's probably the deal. You just get comfortable. You're doing it without a problem.
Yeah. Fuck. I can't imagine. But it sounds like he's going to do some real time in a federal prison. And then what do you do when you get out? Like, what do you do? You're a registered sex offender. You think it's possible that he hangs on to any of that money? I mean, 15 million would go fast.
Yeah, he'll get sued by the victims too.
Yeah, that was the other thing I was wondering about. This idea that you're just across the board giving $100,000 to these people.
I don't think they're waiving their rights to sue him. That's just a piece of the criminal, what do you call it? Conviction.
Yeah.
To pay restitution.
Yeah. That just seems weird that you can just make that part of the deal, like that you're paying these girls. I mean, because in total honesty, the girl was 17, which is probably a legal age of consent in New York, and she's a working prostitute. So I don't know if that changes anything. I mean, obviously for Subway's relationship, it's terrible, but as far as legally, like, what does he owe her?
I thought it was, I don't know that they were referring necessarily to her. I think there were younger ones. And I think I read that as the restitution going to the kids who were in the videos. They were able to identify those victims. You didn't read it like that?
Well, I thought it was all of them. They've identified 14 victims. And I thought they were saying that most of those kids, because a lot of those kids they didn't know they were being filmed. Remember, they were going into what's his name's house, and he just kind of had cameras set up and was just creeping these go change in the bathroom.
Russ's house?
Yeah, exactly.
Russ?
Yeah.
There you are.
And he would film them in the bathroom as they were changing or what, or stuff like that.
Oh, it's so deviant.
I know it is. I know. But as far as the chicks that he was banging, the prosecutor that I heard today was saying how these are girls that are really in the shit. I mean, they're prostitutes. They're very young hookers, and this $100,000 will give them the opportunity to start fresh, to get a new start. And I don't have any problem with that, but it just seemed like I've never seen that in one of these cases, and maybe that's just because
usually they don't have the means to pay restitution of any consequence.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense. Crazy. And like I said, I don't have a problem with it. But
fucking windfall for them.
Yeah, but why not pay him $1 million each?
I know.
Wipe the dude out. I don't know. Anyway, remember our buddy Jose?
I do remember Jose and his little buddy Jose B.
Yeah. Jose, do you remember his full name?
Something Rodriguez.
No. Nope. No. E, do you remember?
No, I can't. I mean, I just remember.
I'm sure he can say it though. If
No,
you say it,
no,
you'll
no,
remember
I
how to
can't.
pronounce
I
it.
Yeah,
can't.
we'll
I
try
can't.
that.
I
We'll-
can't.
Jose Antonio Ramirez Serrano. Come on, you can
No,
you can just
dude, I don't
just
wanna fucking-
the end. You be a team player, not this. No, I can't. No, I won't.
Not gonna.
What?
Ramirez Serrano.
I'm only doing.
You got this shit, dude. You are
What is
so
it?
Ramirez
Eric, just spit it out already.
Ramirez Serrano. You got this.
Ramirez Rosano. I don't know.
That's really
No, that was
quite
good.
well done.
Shut up,
It's getting
Mickey McCard.
no, that one was honestly, dude. Of all the ones you've ever done here, that was. I mean,
Well, I
show
think-
of hands, guys. Was that not the best one?
I think he's
done?
been working on it. We hadn't
Clearly.
done that in a long time. Asked him
I mean,
to
that-
pronounce Spanish words, but he's clearly been working on it. You taking a class or something?
No, I haven't. And it
Online,
does
at least.
suck.
You're taking
Shut
some-
up. I'm not even rolling my tongue. I'm just gargling it essentially when I say it.
You're being hard on yourself. You're being too tough on yourself. That was honestly the best one I've heard you do. Seriously. He's the guy that we watched the video a while ago, and he had
Giant tumor.
well, some say
Allegedly,
tumor.
right?
They that's what they claim.
I know.
Now
It's just total wrong story. They had it all wrong. It was
Yeah.
interesting.
we argued that it was clearly his twin brother, Hosby. His brother, Hosby. It looked like he was born and his twin brother was just hanging onto his neck for dear life. I don't know. See if you can find video of him riding his bike.
That little Hosby son of a bitch is absolutely holding on.
Yeah.
Do not drop me, Jose.
Where are we going, bro? Where are we going, man? Yeah. He had a little ass crack. And it
Yes,
looked like
he did.
He looked like he was grabbing him around the neck. Anyway, that he had they were saying it was a life-threatening growth. Look at that poops.
Look at little Hosby.
I mean, you can
Hang on,
literally-
Hosby. Hang on, buddy.
You can make out a head right there.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a head
Absolutely. it
growing
is.
into Jose's head.
His little buttock.
Keep scrolling down. McCard. Look at that.
Yeah. He's just holding on, going for a ride.
Yeah. By the way, that thing was rough and scaly, they said.
What?
Yeah.
Hosby?
Hosby. Yeah.
Wasn't this
That's what they
also
said.
the one?
That's kind of piling on.
Agreed.
Wasn't this also too where the senator or whatever had come down to see how he was doing? And am I wrong?
Yeah, there was some politician.
Yeah.
I do remember that.
doing some stupid.
Well,
I think from the country of New Mexico.
he did some serious international traveling because he was from Mexico and then he traveled out of country to the United States and then he traveled again out to another country, New Mexico.
Wow, incredible.
So yeah, I mean they had him going all over.
his passport is lit up.
He was brought to New Mexico on a medical visa in hope of finding a cure. Doctors were hopeful injections of a new drug would help him. That new drug, Viagra.
What?
Yep, they were giving him Viagra shots.
nice.
Yeah, that didn't work at all, as you would expect. That
Well, I'm
wouldn't
sure it
work.
did something.
Just made his little pecker stand
I mean-
up straight for,
What's going on in the medical community in some of these third world countries like New Mexico?
I don't know.
I mean, seriously, you're giving Viagra to a kid with his still attached unborn brother around his neck? Seems odd. The problems persisted, but after 18 months, doctors realized it wasn't working. So they were giving this son of a bitch Viagra for 18 months.
With any relief?
None. I mean, his dick was rock for most of that time. But as far as getting better, no, he was suffering, and he began to suffer from dangerous infections. They'd been reluctant to operate because of the veins in
All intertwined
Hosby.
and shit.
Yeah, Hosby and Jose were literally totally intertwined with veins and lymphatic growth, blood vessels. There was a serious risk of infection. Yeah, that little son of a bitch was making things difficult on Jose. Despite the risk, they finally decided to operate to save his life. Jose said, "I'm very anxious and nervous because I've never had an operation in my life, man." His father, Jose Sr., said, "We have other children younger than Jose, and we've had to make a sacrifice. They understand it's for their brother. Me and me."
Do they?
Brothers.
Yeah, for the twin brothers.
The bummer is that those kids are eating probably shit food and stuff and cutting back so they can get this surgery. Not get to go on vacation now.
Yeah,
Fucking
from their village.
In Jose's defense, Hosby is taking over his face. So
Yeah, and he was like fucking with his breathing
Yeah.
and his eyesight.
you talked about the intertwined lymphatic system.
Yeah. So his mother, Cindy, said, after the surgery, I want to see him able to ride his bike, to play football,
I have a
to
question.
play with his brothers.
Look at this. His mom's like, I'll be damned. He has an ear.
Yeah.
Who has bigger breasts in this image?
Oh, E. That's kind of a cheap shot.
Well, that's an interesting observation.
Between those.
You could literally switch those torsos. The mother and the father, you could switch those torsos.
Wow.
Still a cheap shot, though. I think we can all agree that was a cheap shot by E. A team of 12 surgeons operated on young Jose for
I don't know,
16 hours.
I think B's coming back. I mean,
Doesn't it look
I
like
think
it?
they got a decent chunk off, but I think B's coming back. I'd be careful.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
He looks better when he's wearing a shirt.
That's
well.
not what I was laughing at.
What are you laughing at?
And that go back to that's even more pronounced as far as the breasts is.
They're no, next one.
Okay, yeah.
They're both husky. They're both husky for sure.
Yeah. Wow.
What would sex between those guys look like?
Yeah, there's got to be some moving of folds in order
Nothing
to.
wrong with that.
You
Nothing wrong
can't
with
can't
that.
effectuate Congress without some movement of folds.
For all you know, they identify as thin. You don't know that.
I don't think you have to be going doggy.
I don't know. I observe them as fat.
You do?
Yeah,
Well,
husky.
yeah, it's not a good look.
Well, God bless him. Like I said, I'm not sure that little B's totally gone.
Yeah, well, look at that. If you want to see more on this story, Jose's story is on a new series called Body Bazaar, which airs
they
tonight.
got to do that
Thursday.
to Jose and Jose B. Call it Bazaar and shit.
Yeah, I know.
It's like a sideshow.
It's going to be on Thursday. So tonight, if you're listening to this on Thursday morning, like most people, tonight at 9 p.m. on TLC,
Wow.
they're running a story on Jose and Jose B. You'll recognize them, and you'll probably see video that Jay and I were watching when we saw all this initially. Yeah, they need to do some work on the scarring, and I think you might be right that Jose B might be trying to make a reappearance.
Boy, I wouldn't count him out.
Last we knew, he was at his new address at the hospital.
Jose
Where are
B,
you going to live, man?
Jose B is resilient. I just wouldn't put it past him.
Wow. Why don't we take a quick time out? You want to do a
Yeah,
read real
before we
quick?
do that, look, listen, Zott Ford is Metro Detroit's leading lease pull-ahead authority. They specialize in getting people out of their current leases up to 12 months early. Doesn't matter what brand your lease is or how many miles you have on it, Zott Ford can assist you in getting out of your lease early and into a beautiful new Ford. Now's the time to get out of that overpriced, over-mileage lease, and their goal is to match or lower your current payment. Check out their marvelous deals and massive inventory at ZottFord.com.
And we can't forget, maybe your Proops needs a bigger yard. Maybe your family is expecting its very own sweet pie. If you're looking for a new home, Krista Jelski is your girl at Remax Suburban. If she can help you find that home of your dreams, check out her website, KristaSellsHouses.com. That's Krista with a K, or call her anytime. And she literally means anytime.
She'd prefer it in the middle of the night. She really would.
Absolutely.
I've heard.
586-918-0900. And we'll take a very short time out, and we'll come back with J. Chris Newberg. He just got here. So we'll do that and much more next.
The Detroit Cast continues after this short break.
Hey there, it's Steve Gabarra, the general manager at Zott Ford and Holly. Please don't hit fast forward. You're going to want to hear what I have to say. We're excited to announce 0% financing for 72 months and $1,000 in rebates on all new 2015 cars and SUVs. Plus, you can get 0% financing for 72 months on the all-new 2015 Ford F-150. Friends, we can debate if the King has a Magnum-sized Sharpie or simply a healthy prostate all we want. But we can't debate that this is truly an amazing deal. Again, get 0% financing for 72 months plus $1,000 in rebates on cars and SUVs, or 0% financing for 72 months on the all-new F-150. And you can get it all at Zott Ford in Holly. Check out our absurd deals and massive inventory at ZottFord.com.
The Detroit Cast continues now, bitches. Here's Mike and Jay.
All right, welcome back to the Detroit Cast on a Thursday with Mike and Jay. And welcome Jay Chris Newberg. Chris, how are you, buddy?
What's up, man?
Good to see you. Yeah, good to see you. We might need to turn your mic up a little bit.
All right. Well, I haven't talked yet.
You did. Usually Eric's on that microphone and he talks like this and he screams a lot.
Squawks.
So
Yeah.
you can move that closer to you if you want.
All right.
Get comfortable.
I am comfortable.
Welcome home, dude.
Thanks.
Yeah. Is it good to be back home? You're living out in LA. And
It's true.
You've been out. I can't believe it. Have you been out there 10 years now?
10 years.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Dude, it seems like yesterday.
It feels like 10 years.
Does it?
Yeah.
How was the flight?
It was long. It was 2 delays. United got it done.
Yeah.
They're really good at making flights longer than they should be.
Yeah.
And apologizing. They're really good at apologizing.
Yeah. But not fixing the problem.
No.
If you're wondering why Chris Newberg is here, he's playing at Ridley's in Royal Oak. He'll be here tonight for those listening Thursday morning to this. Tonight, Friday and Saturday, 2 shows Saturday. And Jay and I and Eric will be out there on Saturday night. We're looking forward to that.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So we're going to come out. I talked to Mark Ridley
Good.
a little earlier today.
Great.
It's good to hear he's doing well.
Yeah.
Yeah. He used to be your manager.
Yeah, he's awesome. I have nothing. Mark's amazing.
Yeah.
He's like the nicest dude ever. His laugh is infectious and he's super helpful and smart. And
Dude, he is so well respected by comics. Everybody knows him.
he's great.
Yeah.
I mean, I couldn't think, I couldn't even if I tried
Yeah.
be able to say something bad about the guy. He's great.
Yeah. Well, I've been doing my research on you, and
What do we come up with?
well, lots of stuff. We'll talk about stuff. I love your stuff with America's Got Talent,
Uh-huh.
Leno, Kimmel, all that stuff.
Right.
Work with Dane Cook. We'll get into. But I have to ask you because I don't know the story on this. I'm seeing it blowing up on Twitter.
Right.
Who is Fat Jew, and
The
what has
Fat
he
Jew.
done to piss every comic in America off?
He steals.
Yeah.
And that's not cool. I mean,
He steals like food from the store.
he most likely steals food. I mean, well, he's not a thin man, but it's not about that. He has made a successful business out of like memes and online content, but he'll make these memes and he'll borrow jokes from other comics and he'll get several hundreds of thousands of likes and views, and he won't give credit to these other comics. And then he got like a Comedy Central show out of it, who since like Comedy Central dropped him based on how many other comics were like saying you've stolen shit and
Yeah.
it's not cool, don't whatever. And I mean, he just signed a CAA.
Well, that's an agency.
Huge, like the biggest
Huge.
agent.
Yeah.
And it was so funny because I was talking to a CAA agent, and I was like, so what's up, Fat Jew? Like, did you sign him? Were you the guy who signed him? Like, was that your fuck up? And he's like, no, man. He's like, I wish I did. He's going to make so much money because of all this attention he's getting. I'm like, he's stealing shit.
Wow.
And he's like, not, I mean, hopefully, I mean, I don't know the guy personally, but I'm not really a fan of people who steal jokes. It's
Yeah.
not cool. I mean, as a comic, you work really hard to record these jokes or not record them, just come up with them.
Yeah.
And then someone just fucking lifts them. It's not fun.
That is brutal. And didn't Twitter just have a thing recently where they're cracking down?
Yeah, they have a I don't know what it's called, but it's like a copyright law type thing.
Like you have to give credit if you're using somebody else's thing. To, I mean, I don't know.
I don't know how they enforce it.
I
I
know.
think you as a comic have to see someone steal your shit and report it to Twitter, and then they can do something about it.
Well, there's not. I mean, okay. For example, I did a joke that I wrote like 4 years ago, and it was and I'm absolutely 100% positive I did it before anybody else. And it was this is my impression of an astronaut breaking up with his girlfriend because of work. I need space.
Yeah.
Okay. I know that I did it first.
Yeah.
And then that joke, then I did it on the Tonight Show. A week after I did it on the Tonight Show, 50 Cent put it on his Instagram. And then about 6-7 months later, it was an art piece or a commercial for Heineken.
Oh my God.
And,
Really?
Yeah. And then I saw someone do it like a year later on Last Comic Standing. And there's nothing I can do about it. I can't be like, that's my joke.
Yeah.
It's like I'm like, I
That's
did it.
shameless.
I'm like,
man.
I did it first. Sorry.
And you did it on Leno. It's not
Yeah.
like you did it in your backyard.
Right. Yeah.
That's incredible.
But I for sure did it first, and they all took it.
And that's not like making a 6-inch sub joke about Jared today.
No.
I mean, that's a well thought out original joke. about breaking up with your girlfriend and I need space.
Yeah, I mean, it was like when I wrote it, I was like, oh, this is really good, and it was funny. But yeah, I mean, there's so many Jared jokes and whatever. I mean,
they were driving me nuts today. Twitter has turned everybody into an amateur comedian, and it drives me nuts. Where it's like for the 50th time today, I see someone with a foot long joke or a
6-inch.
Oh, he's gonna get plenty of foot longs where he's going.
Right.
It's like, ugh.
Yeah.
It's pretty douchey.
Yeah, but you know what? Hey, God bless him for trying.
Yeah, yeah. You like Twitter.
I
I started following you, and I like what I see.
I followed you today.
Yeah, thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Here's my problem with Twitter. I never know what the fuck to write. It seems like I'm just going through my average boring day, and everything seems boring to me, and it doesn't feel like it's worthy of mention.
Oh, thanks. Well, I mean, that's the thing. Like, if you, in your opinion, is like whatever your angle is and whatever you're saying, it's like that's the cool stuff. When you start thinking about what should I do, that's when it gets diluted, and it's
trying too hard, right,
Yeah.
Mike? Is that the deal?
Yeah, I think it is.
But you got to understand, Mike's life is like in this house.
okay.
So
It's a good house.
Thank you.
Good house. Lots of wood.
Lots of wood, yes. But and I don't like leaving, but I don't know. It always feels like whatever I'm doing is lame. Like I don't know if that makes sense, but
I mean, like, isn't it like the older we all get, the less cooler we recognize that we are?
that's true.
I mean,
That's true.
that's the only way to look at it. I mean, we get to what it was. There used to be a coaster. Well, I'm sure it exists, or it's like it was on my grandmother's stove. It says we get too soon old and too late smart.
Yes.
And I don't know. I mean, it was a great pot holder or whatever, but I didn't get it for like the first 10 years I saw it. But then when I got it, I was like, fuck yeah, grandma.
Yeah.
that's wisdom.
Yeah.
Nana, way to go.
Good job, yo.
What do you think of the state of comedy right now?
I think it's in a resurgence. I think it's coming back. I think it's cool again.
It's definitely cool. I think it would be hard right now. It seems like 10, 15 years ago, the PC police didn't exist like they do now. Does that worry you? Or do you even think about those people?
No. I mean, if you don't offend somebody, you're doing it wrong. And it's not like you write jokes for yourself and you want them to be funny. You want them to be cool, but it's not possible to write a joke no matter what it is without offending someone.
Right.
But if you focus on I read lots of comedy biographies and I love comedy in general. And I read this Don Rickles book where Rickles said, when you go on stage, 1/3 of the people immediately hate you, 1/3 immediately like you, and 1/3 will be indifferent. If you chase the people who don't like you or who are indifferent, you'll lose 100% of the audience. So you got to go out there and you got to be you. And, you're going to say some shit that's horrible and offensive, but as long as it's not mean-spirited and like racist. I think racism is the only thing that really fucks you, unless it's funny.
Yeah, and I think that's where I have a problem, because I think I can find humor in almost anything.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Like the idea that you can that Caitlyn Jenner can happen in this country right now, and it's like hands off limits for comedians across the board, drives me out of my fucking mind.
Well, I think the thing about Caitlyn Jenner is you are not allowed to have an opinion other than positive, or you are crucified.
Right.
Got to be progressive, right? All the time.
You can't in any way. You can't tell the truth.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not saying that. I mean, what is my opinion of her? Or him or her. I don't mean anything bad, but like, I don't know. I don't know what that life's like. I don't know what it's like to be living inside a woman's body for 39 years or whatever.
Yeah.
But it was a brave journey, whatever. And, I can't really relate to it, but I can't disrespect it. And if that helps other people, cool. But if I have an opinion, not me, if anyone has an opinion, you are fucked if it's not how great and how amazing is this situation. You're done.
Yeah.
Like, if you say anything negative, then you're an asshole.
Yeah. But if you talk to those people that have those opinions outwardly, if you talk to them in private, I guarantee they're going, dude, this is fucked up shit.
No question.
And that's the part that bothers me, is you're not allowed to really voice your opinion on something like that.
I'd rather be bothered and still not be crucified than prove my point and just die in front of everyone.
Yeah.
Right. And the trouble too, you mentioned race being, obviously completely off limits. Well, not completely, but that's what's becoming so gray too. It's like, well, even if you just dabble into it, just stick your toe in the water in it. Oh my God. So I would think that'd be scary. And you've kind of done different venues or different events like network TV where you've got to be like family oriented. Did you find that difficult versus what you would typically do like in a small club?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, I like being funny. I mean, maybe. I mean, I've written a bunch. The funny thing about it is like, I've written jokes for black comics that I would not technically be able to say on stage. I wrote a joke for a black comic that if a black comic said it, it would work. And the joke was BT, cool name for an urban network, but I think a better one would be Nickelodeon. Like as a white guy, I can't say that joke, but having written that joke for a black comic, that black comic can say that and it kills.
Yeah.
But all of a sudden I'm a bad dude if I say it as a white guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had a black comic on years ago when I was living in Lansing, and it was when Ebonics first became like a term, and he was like, it ain't Ebonics, it's Niglish, y'all. And he fucking crushed with it.
Right.
But it was like, if I said that joke, done.
No, you can't.
Murdered for that.
No, the only time I've ever said the N-word on stage was I said, if you're going to say nigga please, you need to say nigga thank you because it's polite. I did that once on stage and I got away with it. And I was like, that's it. I only needed to do it once. I don't have anything to prove.
Yeah.
And, I escaped.
Yeah. Well, that'll work.
Yeah, it is what it is.
What do you like doing better? The big network things, or just kind of doing the clubs and being able to totally do what you want? I mean, it's got to be
that was a
amazing
leading
to
question,
do.
Mike.
Yeah, it kind of was. But when you get to do Jay Leno, the Tonight Show, that's
I think TV's cool. It doesn't happen frequent enough for me to like not be impressed by it. I mean, I've done TV like a handful of times. I think at best, it's maybe 3 times in a year. And, touring is great. And like, I've been super lucky. Like I just recently toured with Russell Peters, and we did India, and we did the Middle East, and we did all, and like, he's playing stadiums. He's not playing arenas. He's playing stadiums.
Yeah.
And it's like Michael Jackson shit. And you're like talking to people who are crying because they're talking to you.
Wow.
And all you did was the opener. You were the opener, and that was it.
And how many people will pay attention to you for that?
Everyone.
Is it a pretty packed house when you're up on stage too?
Yeah, we were in Bangalore, and I think it was like 90,000 people or something.
Holy shit, man.
We played like a highlight arena. It was like, it was ridiculous.
Wow.
And you can't, you walk out and you're like, what's up, India?
Yeah.
And they go crazy. And it's like this, it's so.
Are they familiar with you?
No.
But
absolutely not. But it's like one of the things where it's such a big deal for them, and it's such a once in a lifetime or one moment for yourself.
Yeah.
Like I couldn't go back there and do 90,000 people. They wouldn't care. It's all about Russell. But like you fly private there. Like Russell's so awesome. You fly private there. You stay up in an amazing hotel. It's like you have huge security, of the best meals. You're literally playing better than you possibly could ever play, like number wise. And it's so fun. That's great. Like
those gigs pay well.
He pays very well.
Yeah.
But it's like there's very few comics. Like Chelsea Handler. I was just working with Josh Wolf like a week ago, and he had that show on CMT that just got canceled, and he was on her show all the time. He said that she paid $10,000 a night to open for him.
Wow.
Which is really cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he's like, she's great. She's got the best drugs, and it's the best whatever. And he didn't really say anything other than amazing things about her.
Yeah.
Which I'm sure means best drugs. I'm sure she's got a bunch of good weed and whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
But this is allegedly.
Of course. How are those crowds in I'd be worried going to India. I'd be worried going to California and trying to do this show that people wouldn't like.
It wouldn't translate.
It wouldn't translate. Like they'd be too liberal for it to work.
I think honesty just translates in general.
Yeah.
It just does. It's just like, it just works. And if you're like when that was the only thing that was interesting, like I was in, what was it? Frogs. I'm having
France.
No, it was Middle East. I can't think of it.
You went to the Middle East?
No, but we were in the Middle East. We were playing. It was like I can't think of it. But we were there, and they were like, there was just a civil war. And I said to him, is there anything I can't say? And they said no religious jokes. And I'm like, no religious jokes? And he goes, no, none whatsoever. And I'm like, well, what about like, what if I do a 50 virgin joke and whatever? And he's like, no, we were just in war where people were blowing up cars and like,
Yeah.
I'm so mad that I can't remember where it was. Sri Lanka.
Sri Lanka. Yeah.
And it was fucking awesome. And there was like police around us and it was great. But it was like, if you talk about religion, you're fucked.
Wow. Are there other things that you're not allowed to talk about?
Just religion.
Now, to what extent did you have to change up your whole show when you're doing
Nothing.
these big? Really?
Nothing.
Because you'd think you'd lose some like
Lost in
nuance,
translation.
or not only that, but just nuanced stuff that you do with your face, that, like a small club would see, or shrugs of the
Oh,
shoulders,
no,
or
because
something.
they have big, like, they have cameras on you and they have these huge screens. So you can be like, and it works.
Yeah. Okay.
Wow. That's
crazy.
insane.
It's crazy.
Were you touring with Dane Cook at one point?
I was.
Yeah.
I
How?
was.
I remember when that you were writing with him or touring with him or both.
Both.
Yeah. And how was that?
He's a fantastic comedian.
He was.
He's the worst boss ever.
Really?
He's terrible.
That's what his brother said too.
Yeah, well, his brother's in jail, isn't he?
Yeah.
How so?
He was stealing a bunch of money from him.
His brother was.
Yeah.
I just don't think I just personally like I normally always take the high road, and I normally
Please don't.
Okay. I don't think he's a nice person. I think he's a fucking horrible person.
Really?
Yeah, he's just a horrible fucking person. He's crazy, and I just like everything about him is just really shitty. Like he does all of these like I want to not tell bad stuff, but I'm looking at a construction paper penis.
Yeah, you can have that.
Thanks. And I'm
Listeners
like,
send us stuff like
I'm
that.
like this kind of
We have a whole bag of dicks.
Yeah.
whole bag of dicks.
Mm.
He did like all of this horrible mind game shit to me. Like he would invite I have a few. Here are my two favorite Dane stories, and everybody has a Dane story. I was joking with Orny Adams, and he was like, I want to start a podcast, and it would just be called Dane Stories, and everyone would come on and tell their Dane story. But this is a guy who successfully like is a rock star comic. He was like dice big. Like here's a dude who on his own through MySpace and through whatever became this arena rock star comic.
Multiple nights at the Garden.
Nobody questions how successful he was. I'm not in any way saying he's not successful. And having toured with him, I can never tell you that I didn't see him grab 17,000 people a night in his hand. He was incredible. And I think he could probably still do it if he still did it. But whatever, that aside, he was so fucking awful. Like when we were on tour with him, we were allowed to eat. These are my three short stories. Once, when we were on tour with him, we were allowed to eat once a day. Once a day. He didn't have breakfast food. We couldn't bring any alcohol or any weed on the bus. It was just healthy snacks, nothing at all. There was no food. If we touched his food, which was like basically sun chips, we were in trouble. We weren't allowed to eat more than once a day, and the food was in his dressing room. It was chicken, pasta, and broccoli, and it was served at 6 o'clock right after sound check. We had to knock on his dressing room door to get permission from him to go into the dressing room to eat once a day, and we all had to eat together. And it was just like it was to the point where it was like 6 o'clock. We hadn't eaten since 6 o'clock the day before. We're all fucking starving, and like if he was on the phone, he was like, "I'm on the fucking phone. You must knock." Like if we didn't have a chance, if he had a long phone call, we didn't eat before we played, and then if we didn't eat before we played, we couldn't go into his dressing room until he got off stage.
Oh, so you're talking midnight.
We weren't allowed to go into his dressing room without him there, and all that was in his dressing room was his laptop and fucking food. So we were allowed to eat once a day, and it was horrible. We all lost weight on tour. Shocker.
Yeah.
And so that was my first one. My second favorite Dane story was I was on a date with this girl, and I got to his house, and I was there, and he had already had sex with two different girls. He'd already, like, Dane fucks a lot.
Yeah.
Okay. Or he chooses to let you believe he fucks a lot. I don't know if he does, but he chooses to let you believe that he fucks a lot. So he, I don't feel bad for any of this, by the way.
Yeah.
If any of it goes,
Me either.
Whatever. If it goes viral, great.
Yeah.
My last name is also Cook. I'm his brother. I hadn't been on a date in like a year, and I was with this really nice girl, and we were all just hanging out, and he pulls me aside and he goes, "Hey man, do you mind if you just leave this girl here with me for like an hour?"
Oh no.
And I go, "What?" He's like, "Do you mind if you just leave her here for like an hour?" Kinda, yeah. And he's like, "Because I'm kind of feeling a vibe with her and I right now. It's kind of awesome, I think. Don't you feel it?" Like, I don't feel it at all.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm responsible for her. It's against the law for me to not get her home. I picked her up.
Yeah.
Like, I can't do it. And he's like, well, we just kind of ask her and see if it's cool for her to stay here. He's like, again, you can come pick her up in an hour, so I have to take her home. I'm like,
oh,
Dude.
I'm like, dude, that's not even, I'm like, I can't ask her that. I'm like, I'm not gonna.
yeah.
Like, this went on for like 20 minutes of negotiating
oh,
of like how uncomfortable I felt with it. And then finally he was like, oh, I'm just kidding, bro. It's cool. Talk to you later, bro. It's cool.
but he wasn't
He
kidding.
was not kidding.
Yeah. If you would have said, yeah, dude, whatever. And which means probably a lot of people have done that to him.
Oh God, I'm sure. Like, he's just like, I don't know. I couldn't be less of a fan. I
Yeah.
mean, he's just like, he's some of my jokes in this new special. He didn't credit me for or pay me for them.
They were jokes you wrote.
Uh-huh.
Wow.
And not a ton. He writes a lot.
Yeah.
Like, I cannot diss on him as a comic.
Yeah.
Just him as a person. He sucks.
Really? What was the third story?
I'm trying to remember. Oh yeah, okay. That was great. Okay, so we were in Western Canada, and he comes in, it's after the show. And he comes up to me, and it's me, Al, Ben, the other two openers, and like 4 or 5 girls, and we're all sitting in this, because we played hockey arenas, and we're sitting just in a circle talking to these chicks. And he comes up to me and takes his knuckle and he fucking smashes me in the top of the head, like to the point where I was like, whoa. And like all of the other people were like, whoa, what's up? He like smashes me and he's like, you owe me $20 fucking dollars. And I was like, what? And we got paid at the end of the tour. We got paid our merch money along the way. And like, we literally, he's like, you owe me $20 fucking dollars. And again, this was right after his brother stole money from him. So he was really
Needed $20.
well, I don't know if he needed $20. He was really testy and really like crazy.
Yeah.
I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm like, and I looked at my wallet and I didn't have $20 on me. I was like, I eat once a day in your room.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, like, whatever. And I'm like, I don't have $20. And so it turns out there was like, so we were allowed to give backstage passes to hot girls, people of the military, or handicapped people. No one else. No guy who was a fan of his could ever go backstage. So this guy came up to me and he's like, Dane Cook is my biggest fan, or I'm his biggest fan on earth. I'm like, he's my favorite person. I want to go backstage. And I said, well, you know, and he's like, and he's not leaving. He's not hanging out. He's hanging out because we're all out there selling our CDs and whatever. So I say, all right, you know what? If you buy one of Al's CDs and one of my CDs, I'll give you a pass. My guy's like, okay, no problem. So he pays $20, buys each one of our CDs for $10, gives it to the merch guy who I have no control over, and goes backstage. While he's backstage, apparently this kid says to Dane, he goes, oh, this was totally worth the $20 I paid that guy to whatever. So Dane thought I was selling his passes, which was not the case. So Dane comes back, fucking punches me in the head, tells me I owe him $20. The next day we're in Vancouver. And we might have been in British Columbia the night before, but we were in Vancouver. And I remembered it's me, Al, and Dane, and we're on the bus. And we're watching a Freddie Mercury special. And it couldn't be more awkward because he hasn't talked to me in a day. Like, he's like just fucking angry and yelling. And he goes, you still owe me $20. And I go, I don't understand what you're talking about. Why do you keep fucking saying this? And he tells me the story. And I made the mistake of going, why would I do that? Why would I steal $20 from you?
Yeah.
And he's like, you are a hired gun. My brother fucking took money. You took money. You don't fucking matter. You're a hired fucking gun. Fuck you. Get off my bus. And I'm in Canada. I'm in, like, I know no one. I'm like, where am I going to fucking go? I'm in Canada.
They're a kind
He's
people,
like,
though.
get the fuck off my bus. Fuck you. Get off my bus. So I'm like, all right. So I like go inside and like at the venue, and then the stage manager, or no, the tour manager comes up to me and he goes, all right, here's the deal. You don't have any more backstage passes for the rest of the tour. He's like, you have none. And the next show after Western Canada was Reno, where my dad lives. And I was told that if I fraternized with my father or my family, I would have to find my own way home from the tour.
What?
Yeah. So I couldn't I couldn't talk to my dad at the show in Reno where my father lives. Otherwise, I would have to like get myself home. Like, he's crazy.
That's sociopathic stuff.
Dude, like, but the story that I was thinking of that I couldn't think of was one time he invited me to a party at his house. And he's like, I said, can I bring anyone? And he said, absolutely not. I'm like, okay. And he's like,
no +1 with Dane Cook.
And I'm like, okay. So I get to his house and I'm by myself and everyone else there is a couple. Everyone. And so I sit down next to these girls and I'm having food with them. And he comes up to me and he's like, hey, man, can I talk to you? And he would always say two things when he talks to you. Hey, man, can I talk to you? And I want to get something off my chest. That's when you know it's about to be a horrible conversation.
Yeah.
And I'm like, sure, buddy, what's up? And he's like, can you not talk to those girls you're talking to right now? And I go, why? And he goes, well, they're my friends. I don't really want you fraternizing with the girls I know. I don't like it when my friends mix with the girls I'm talking to. And then I'm like, wait a second, you invited me to the party and you told me I couldn't bring anyone and I can't talk to anyone at the party? What am I doing at the party?
Yeah.
What am I doing at the party? This is fucking awful.
Dude, what a terrible relationship to be in with someone where you're on such unequal grounds and footing that you can't even defend yourself, it sounds like, without running the risk of sending him off the deep end.
I wrote this song for him for American Idol. And I wrote the words with the exception of one joke that Ben Glebe wrote. I wrote all the jokes and all the music and everything else, and we recorded it. He insisted, and he bullied me into it, that he got 90% writing credit, and I got 10%. And his name was first on it. So he made tons of money. And I was like, I remember like I think I was living in my car at the time. I was like, this is my big break. I'm super excited.
Yeah.
And I got
I think we had you on the Drew and Mike show when you did that.
And I fucking got 10% for doing everything.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of that guy. And I mean, like, I'm not going to slander him because I will say this to cover my ass on this podcast or whatever. He's a great comic.
Yeah.
I'll stand by it.
I think his first special was decent, was good.
He's a great comic. I'm not a fan of him as a person.
Yeah.
That's all I'll say.
Okay.
But
that's your opinion. I don't honestly, I didn't think he was a great comic after his first special, personally.
Yeah, no, say all the weird shit you want. I'm just covering myself. As a comic, good guy. As a boss.
Have you signed stuff, Chris?
No, I mean, like, I normally don't talk shit about him ever. I always like take the high road.
Yeah.
But I was like, fuck it, I'm here, and he won't hear this. And even if he does, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
I mean, he was just really fucking mean and bullying.
Yeah. Do you think it was you personally, or do you know that he was like that with other people too?
He's like that with everybody. Like every time that there's like, he's been banned from the Laugh Factory because like he would show up and bump people. Like if you were starting to have success as a comic, he would show up and he would just bump you for an hour.
Yeah.
And just do his shit. And I don't know. He's just like not a nice dude.
In fairness, didn't you do that tonight at the
No,
at
I
Ridley's?
went last. No, I went last.
That's actually cool though. You what I'm referencing is before you came over here, you popped over to Ridley's.
I love comedy.
Yeah.
And I wanted to do it, and I stopped in and I went last. And they I got there 8:45, and they said, "Do you want to go up now?" And I'm like, "No, that's not fair to them."
Yeah.
Like, you have to go last. I mean, he could have went last and everything, but he just bumps all these people. But ultimately, like, he's still rich. It doesn't matter. He doesn't give a fuck what I think.
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't matter. I mean, good for him. He'll continue to have success, but not a cool dude.
Yeah.
Hey, you mentioned writing several times. How much time is spent writing as opposed to actually being up on stage? In other words, writing for other people.
I write a lot for other people, and it's cool. I mean, like, I'm on my 3rd season of Idiot Test. We just got our 3rd season. It's the Game Show Network show. It's not really super popular, but like 3 million people a week watch it.
It's good enough.
Yeah, and we're on our 3rd season. We shot 105 episodes so far, and I'm the host, writer, producer for that. So I have to write like 70 jokes a day, and that's fun, and that's cool.
So what do you start with when you wake up in the morning? What do you? I haven't seen it. I wish I had seen it, but I haven't.
It's online. It's everywhere. It's just, I'll just write jokes and just.
Is it based on pop culture or?
Yeah, kind of. I mean, it's hard to explain. You'd have to see it.
Yeah.
You've got to have writer's block like everybody sometimes, though. Do you feel the pressure?
Yeah, but then you just get up and walk around a little bit. And, like, you can't, like, if you have to write 70 jokes, you don't sit down until you write 70 jokes.
Yeah.
You kind of walk around, like, maybe you write 20 or 30 and then have a sandwich and walk around. Writing in LA is so cool because they know the creative process is it's not 9 to 5. I mean, even if it's 9 to 5 or 9 to 9 or 10 to 10 or whatever, it's like, if you write a ton in an hour and then nothing for 7 hours, you still got all your work done.
Yeah. How do you like LA versus Detroit?
I miss Michigan a lot. I think it's cool, but it's just like for what I want to do, there's no opportunities for me to do them here.
Yeah.
Like
I noticed you rep Detroit a lot, which is cool. Every time I see you on national TV,
yep,
you're wearing a Detroit hat. We'll give you a hat too.
Oh, cool. That's awesome.
Yeah. As long as you promise to wear it on national TV.
I will. No, I always do. Like, but I mean, it's like there's times where, like, I got a call like last week, it was a couple weeks ago, and it was my buddy, and he's like, "Hey, do you want to be on Sports Nation on ESPN?" I'm like, "Absolutely." He's like, "Cool. Can you come over to my house?" Sure. And I did Sports Nation, and it was like more people saw me on ESPN than anyone ever saw me on Tonight Show or whatever.
Really?
Yeah, it was great. And then it's like they liked it so much they want me to do it again, and
yeah,
so that's fun.
Nice.
I did, however, do the worst fucking podcast ever 2 days ago.
Oh, what was it?
Some new podcast, and it was horrible because I don't remember the kid because he was nice, but he was like, "Will you call in and do our podcast?" And I'm like, "Sure, I'll do any podcast."
Yeah.
And he had a drunk co-host who only every 5 seconds would go, "Ah, of course." And like after everything I said, it was like, "Ah, of course."
Oh no.
And I was so uncomfortable because I was on the phone. I'm like, "Are you fucking with me?" And I'm like, "Are you doing this on purpose? This is terrible."
Oh, that's all. What are they? Just a couple guys that?
He apologized to me, sent me like a 5-window text message. He's like,
Oh,
"I'm really
no.
sorry this happened." I'm like, "Well, me too, but it's okay." But like, I was haunted.
Yeah.
Of course.
But we've kept E at bay here. This
Oh, good.
Yeah.
fuckface over on the floor here. So
Yeah. He's trying to be a comic himself.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
he actually
I mean, of course.
back in the day opened for Chris, didn't he?
Did he? You did.
That's
didn't
when
you?
he fell on stage.
You probably don't even remember it, man.
Get
Why don't
up,
you get
you
up
son
on a
of a bitch.
microphone? Jesus Christ, how long you been doing this?
Fuck you. You probably don't remember it, dude. It was like 5 years ago. I was interning with them. And
I remember your voice now that you're on the microphone 100%.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, you're very quirky on stage.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think I did like 5 minutes. I was so new. It was awful, to be honest with you. I look back on it.
100% remember your voice, and I
Wow.
remember your actions.
Well, that's cool, I
Not
guess.
when you were laying over there, but like when you were talking. Now that you're talking, yeah, I completely do.
Where
Yeah.
was that? Was that at the?
that was that. No,
Yeah,
that was
Magic
that.
Bag.
Do you remember?
Yeah,
a,
Magic Bag. Oh,
do
shit,
you remember a
that's crazy.
particular action by him as he was getting up on stage?
Yeah, I do.
You fell.
I like tripped over the
For the mic cord.
the
Or
mic
whatever.
cord or something.
I remember that kind of. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Totally
cool.
bit it. First time. That was your first night.
It wasn't my first night ever on a stage, but it was like my third or fourth.
Yeah.
I only got it because obviously I came in there. They were set it till. I mean, it was of course just like right place, right time, not based on any skill
Yeah.
level, obviously.
Yeah.
So here's the cliche question for you, Chris. What do you suggest for a new comic like this? What's your advice for him?
Just keep writing. Right.
Yeah. He doesn't do that.
Yeah,
Anything
he
else?
he has one
Any-
act.
any
He has
other good
one act. He doesn't
suggestions?
write anything else.
Are you fucking kidding me?
No, yes, we're kidding. Relax.
Assholes.
Relax.
I just say writing is the key. Just write.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, that strikes me as weird. I know a lot of you guys do this, and it must be the money, I'm assuming, when you're writing jokes for other people. I would think that you guys would get somehow attached to those. Like those are your creations, your things.
No, not at all.
No?
No, it's not personal. You're just
Really?
told like write 10 jokes about Princess Diana. Okay, done. It's
You're not told who's delivering them necessarily.
No,
Sometimes you
you're
are.
told like I just did some punch up work for my friend Eliza Schlesinger on her show Separation Anxiety.
She's great.
She's great, and I take into consideration how she speaks when I write for her. So I wrote like 7 pages of jokes, but I wrote them in her voice. So
Yeah, I guess doing punch up work for someone makes sense if that's what you're doing. I guess I don't know how that works. If there's like a factory where it's like, oh, I've got these 10 jokes to submit.
No, it's not. It's not like that. It's basically just like you have, like if someone, a producer or an executive producer will come to you and say, we need more jokes. Like we've got 4 writers and they're rocking it and whatever, but we want you to kind of like try to help them because it's like it's better for them if they can bring in an ace or a bullpen person, like a closer, I guess. But they had great writers, and I don't even know how much of the stuff they used, but they called me 2 or 3 times, so I'm sure they used a bunch of it.
And for someone like Letterman, you wrote some stuff that ended up on Letterman, right?
Uh-huh.
And how does that work? I figured Letterman's got 30 writers or 100 writers.
He does, but you can just also just generally submit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden you just wait and watch with the rest of the country to see if it gets used.
No, they contact you and they pay you.
Yeah.
They're like, we're going to use this joke, and they pay you.
How did you like America's Got Talent?
It was okay. I would never do it again. It was a very, very huge rush for a very short period of time.
Yeah.
And didn't really do anything for my career.
It seems extremely obnoxious having a guy perform.
Oh, that's got to be so weird to be up there. And I mean, you're being judged anyway. Like you said, the third is kind of, what was it, Rickles' point of view?
Yeah.
But that's even more different in that you've got these stupid judges with big X's above you.
Yeah, it's I mean, well,
And the buzzer goes off in mid sentence.
yeah.
You're just like,
I mean, I look at that like I escaped, and the footage of it I was happy with, and I stood no chance. I mean, like, I'm not young, I'm not pretty, I'm not a good singer, I'm not like this great dancer or these good jump ropers.
yeah, you lost to some dancers, didn't you?
Yeah, I lost to dancers and jump ropers, and it's like I don't have a story. It's like I wasn't out there trying to win enough money so my grandma could eat bread. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? It's like,
yeah.
I was out there doing my thing, and I didn't get, like, I honestly, like, it was I'll say this, my America's Got Talent experience was such an education in television because I didn't understand, like, looking back on it, when I walked out, the second I walked on stage, Pierce Morgan was like, "You're terrible." And I didn't realize that was the angle. Like, I could have played up the villain against that guy immediately, but I didn't figure it out until the very end.
Yeah,
which
you
was-
ultimately did.
Yeah, but
Which was very funny, by the way.
thank you.
I thought that was very funny.
Thank you. But had I figured it out from the beginning, it would have been a different scenario. But
Scenario.
whatever. But it was still cool.
Don't mind his smugness. He corrects anyone that says scenario and corrects them to scenario.
Oh, is it scenario?
It's just a thing.
No, he's a lawyer, and it's just his part of his smugness.
What's your P number? Is it a 7?
It is not. It's a 5.
Oh, okay, good enough.
I don't even know what that
Is it a
means.
5'9"? It's got to be a 5'9".
No, it's a
for sure.
5'8".
All right. Oh,
I've been around a little while.
How old are you?
And a couple
Your age.
couple score and
Wait, no,
change.
No, you're 42.
Yeah, I'm 42.
I remember because you said 91.
Yeah.
That's cool. I was like, bar numbers are great. I used to because I used to work in law forever.
Yeah.
I used to work as a private investigator and process server forever.
Oh, nice. You probably saw some crazy shit serving
Did.
process.
Yeah, serving some process, doing some investigative stuff. But
Bunch
yeah,
of people alligator arming it. Like, oh,
Yeah,
I don't want it. Nope, I'm not
No.
taking it.
But I worked at all in marriage and family law, so it was awesome.
Nice. Okay.
So what else are you working on? Did I read that you're doing something with Howie Mandel?
No, that
Or you
was-
were? Was that a while ago?
Yeah, it was 2 shows I came up with that didn't go anywhere.
Okay.
No, his wife is still one of my agents, and she's great. And I don't want to come across like, just so you know, like, I don't want to come across as like smug or bitter in any capacity about anyone else on earth, with the exception of Dane Cook, who I think is a cunt.
That's
But like
fine.
everyone else is great and positive and wonderful.
But
But I mean, like, I'm sure he won't hear this, so I don't care. But even if he does, I don't care. But I'm like, I have such a positive attitude about comedy and about Michigan and about performing and being allowed to do it. And I
But-
feel very happy. No, but I just didn't want anyone to think that my impression of him was how I felt about most stuff.
I don't think you gave that impression at all.
Good, because Michigan's awesome. And I also promised that my friend Paul would be able to talk because he's the opener for me this weekend. And he's like, I don't want to come there and watch you talk.
Hey, Paul. How are you? Jump on E's mic over there.
Yeah, Paul's a very funny dude, and he's on the shows all weekend.
Yeah. Do you travel around with Chris, or are you just doing the Detroit shows?
No, I'm just doing the Detroit shows this weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I've known Chris for a while.
Yeah. Did you guys come up in the clubs together?
Yeah, he was about a year or so ahead of me, and I came up behind him and watched him take off. And I went to visit him. What was that? 6 months ago?
Yeah.
In West Hollywood.
Yep, that's where I live.
Saw his place,
Yep.
and he
Yeah.
showed me around, and it was great.
How'd you like it?
Oh, it was incredible to have the inside view with Newberg. He lives right across from the Laugh Factory, literally. Like, you walk out the street and there it is. And
Awesome.
that was amazing. But
Is
when
that
I was
Mitzi Shore?
Mitzi. That's
No,
Mitzi's
Comedy Store.
Comedy Store. That's right. Who owns the?
Laugh Factory, Jamie Masada.
Okay. Yeah.
Laugh Factory is one of the big ones. Comedy Store right now is currently rocking it.
Is it?
Yeah, I mean, like, their lineups are ridiculous.
Yeah. Like, if you just walk in there on a weekend, who would do, or during the week even?
Bill Burr, like, one night would be Bill Burr, like Joe Rogan, Chris Rock, Mark Maron.
Holy shit.
Like, just every night. And it's like,
Yeah.
I think it was funny because it's like I never, when I moved there, the process of performing at the Comedy Store is you have to start off on a Sunday and sign up for open mic, you get 2 minutes in front of only other comics. And then if you do well,
In front of what? Only other comics?
Only other comics, and you get 2 minutes. And same thing with Monday, 2 minutes, and then eventually, like 5-6 years later, you're a regular there. But I was like, fuck this, I'm not doing it, which was one of the biggest mistakes I've ever made. I should have just sucked up and done it because I'm a regular at Laugh Factory, at Improv, Comedy Magic, but I'm not a regular at Comedy Store. And so finally, like a week ago, I was like, I'm going to suck it up. I'm going to do whatever I need to do. And I wrote the guy, and it was the most like sobering, humbling message ever. He's like, hey man, he's like, we have way too many comics. He's like, you're not big enough. He's like, we only have room for big comics and new comics, and you're neither. So circle back in a year. And I'm like,
Oh,
all right.
wow.
But it was 100% true.
Wow. That's brutal.
When I came to visit you, Chris hooked me up with the guy at the door and was like, you can probably get some time. It was a Friday night.
Yeah.
And, he introduced me to the guy. What was his name? Raj.
Raj.
And he showed me around and introduced me to the owner. And, I was going to go on. I was like, he told me I had some time coming. So I'm like, wow, here I am. It's Friday night. People are up and I'm standing in line getting ready to go, just waiting for that moment. And then I got a text from Newberg, who you couldn't even go into the show at the time because you were.
Oh yeah, because I was banned.
You were banned with Dane Cook.
Yeah, because Dane used to play there all the time, and I wasn't allowed to go in while he was still there because Dane had me banned from the comedy from Laugh Factory.
Yeah, so Chris wasn't even in. He wasn't even in there. So
because I knew him. Because he wanted, like, if he doesn't if he doesn't want you to be around him. But if he's got a conflict with you, he doesn't want you around.
Yeah.
And since at the time he was like,
he's got the power to do it.
Yeah, he did. But
He
now
did.
he's banned, and I'm there again. So suck it.
What's he banned for?
Just being a bully.
Yeah. That's crazy.
I mean, like, he'll show up on a night and then like do an hour in front of someone. It's like, really, dude.
Yeah.
And like,
meanwhile, all these other comics are waiting in the wings, thinking they're going on, and he's taking up all night.
Yeah, and his attitude was never like, "Oh, it's cool." It was like, "Fuck you guys, I'm going up."
Yeah.
So
brutal. Well, again, you guys will both be at Mark Ridley's Comedy Castle, 310 South Troy Street in Royal Oak. ComedyCastle.com, 248-542-9900. As I said, I talked to Ridley earlier, and he said that it's selling really well. So if you want to get tickets, do it sooner than later.
And you guys are coming out Saturday?
We'll be there Saturday for the early show.
Excellent.
For the 8, you're doing an 8 and a 10, right?
Yeah.
And then you're also there tonight, Thursday night.
Yeah.
And Friday night.
Yeah.
So go on out. Thank you guys so much for coming by.
Thanks for having me, man.
Absolutely,
Thanks,
dude. It's
guys.
great to see you again.
Thanks.
And chrisarmy.com, and also follow
thechrisarmy.com.
I got there by just going chrisarmy.com, I thought.
Well, then you have a gift, my friend.
All right. Well, thechrisarmy.com and at Chris Army.
No, at the Chris Army.
God damn it, Mike. God damn it.
It's all at the Chris Army, I promise.
Okay. Well, you would know more than me. Sorry.
Yeah.
Well, good luck this weekend.
Thanks
It's
for
awesome
having
to see you, dude.
I'm
and
excited I get a hat.
yeah, we'll hook you up with a hat for sure.
Cool.
Let's take a quick time out, and we'll come back and wrap this thing up.
All right, sounds good.
The Detroit Cast continues after this short break. The Detroit Cast continues now, bitches. Here's Mike and Jay.
Alrighty, welcome back to the Detroit Cast on a Thursday with Mike and Jay.
That was cool.
Yeah, we're not coming back from a commercial break. We're nice and let our guests out.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird when you have a guest in the middle of the show like that. For us, I mean, at a radio station, you have 20 commercial breaks that you'll do in a 5-hour period.
Start running them.
So it's like, let's take a quick break and knock this shit out. But we don't have to do that. So we can either be rude and just go, yeah, thanks for coming, beat it, or do what we just did there. So
Be unrude.
yeah, that was cool. No, it's good to see him. I haven't seen Chris in a few years.
You think he'll wear that hat?
Fuck yeah. Yeah, he will. I'm telling you, every time I see him, he's repping Detroit. When he was on Leno, he was wearing a Detroit t-shirt.
Yeah, like Detroit Manufacturing Company or something.
I
saw that.
Yep. And I've seen him wear Detroit hats on, I think he did on America's Got Talent. Almost said America's Most Wanted. Would have been cool too. But yeah, so that's cool. I'm sure he will actually, which is good. So hopefully we'll see some people out there though. Like I said, again, we'll be out there Saturday night. So that'll be cool. Anyway, on to the show, some more show stuff. Ashley Madison. Remember we were talking about Ashley Madison?
Yeah, last time we mentioned him, it was like being threatened by the hackers that they were going to let this stuff fly, right?
Mm-hmm.
And everybody was kind of freaking out. And we talked about kind of the irony that, here these hackers are going to, like these do-gooders, they're going to unmask all these people who sign up for Ashley Madison with the intent on cheating on spouses.
Yeah.
It's like, fuck you, hackers. You're behind the scene, ne'er-do-wells as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
So to speak.
No, it was well spoken. Very well spoken. Well, they came out today with the time's up and put it out on the dark web. And so, of course, every asshole on the planet is going onto the dark web and trying to gather up as much of the information and then put it on the regular web.
Yeah.
So we can all see it, because this is all apparently information we need to know, like what every dickhead in town that's got an account with Ashley Madison is up to. So
it would be kind of interesting to Control F, start searching people out.
Yeah, and I'm sure there are a lot of women doing that today.
Yeah.
So yeah, they outed millions of quote unquote cheating spouses using the Ashley Madison infidelity website by publishing all personal details and sexual fantasies. Ooh, it's one thing if you've got an account there, but they have you write down like, oh, what are you into? What are your fantasies? It's like, oh yeah, I love feet. And then there's Big E.
Oh, I
love sucking dick. I love TCG. No.
I do not like feet, and I do not like sucking dick.
Okay. Well, now we know.
Yeah, that would not be my fantasy.
What would your
I
fantasy
ask?
be?
I was about to too. I'm like,
No, we're not going to go down that route.
I love straight up missionary.
No, one fantasy. Just
no, we're not.
I don't know why we want to know this.
No, I'm not going down that route.
Well, why? I'm not gonna.
Is that what we
hear? Is that what we hear?
I'm not gonna. Fantasies.
Then we'll make it up for ourselves. I mean, that's how we got to the lightning bolt. That's how we got to a lot of things with Nana. Is you wouldn't tell us, so we had to just kind of go there ourselves.
Yeah, I like the one that you just mentioned, Mike. I think that's a fitting fantasy for him.
Yeah,
what?
A dick in his mouth.
No, that's not even close at all.
A dick in your ear.
Fake.
Nothing involving a dick for sure.
Balls.
Well, we know you don't like vagines.
Nothing involving penis. It would be involving females.
Well, you don't like vagine. What would it be involving concerning a female?
Still sex. It still involves sex, of course. I don't know. I like the idea of public sex, I guess. I think that'd be kind of cool.
Public sex?
Yeah.
Oh, you'd be too loud.
I know. But
do you make noise when you're having sex?
Not really.
Neither time.
Other than me usually something making me fucking awkward and laughing and then having to apologize for something that's happening.
I bet he laughs all the time. He like farts in the middle. Oh shit!
No, it's not even more like that.
My bad, dude.
More just like I don't know awkwardly making moves and then I start laughing that it's awkward and then
you'll start laughing and they'll still follow through.
I've had people say, "What are you laughing about?" I'm just like, I don't know. I fucking feel awkward. It's what I'm doing right now. Wow. But I like doing it and I want to do it.
Yeah.
And they're being paid, so they just
not all. Yeah, that is only a few times, really, Jay. It's the limited amount of paid.
Not all those guys are paid.
None of the guys. Well,
No, none of the guys were paid. Yeah, you'll do that on the house
I've never done anything with any guys
for
sexually.
money.
Forever. For anything, for free, for anything.
Right. So you have no outstanding balances with men anywhere.
I don't.
Is that a true statement that you have no outstanding
that's a true
balances with
statement.
men?
That's also a true statement that I've never had sexual any kind
that
of
wasn't the
relation-
question.
Okay, well,
It wasn't the question was, do you have any outstanding balances for sexual favors with men? And the
do
answer to
you?
that would be,
Do you?
I'm not on trial here. I'm the one asking
I
the
don't.
questions. No, you don't.
What about you?
That's good. Again, I was asking the question. If you want to
Well,
come
I'm
up with your own
asking a
original
question now,
question,
okay?
you can't steal my
How
question.
many guys have you sucked dicks of? How many?
None.
Exactly. Same as me.
He's the host. Okay, he asks the questions.
Thank you.
He drives the
Appreciate
bus.
that. I forgive him.
Big man. You're a big man to do that.
You fucking assholes.
I identify as thin. You know that. It wasn't a cheap shot, but I'll let that slide. I forgive you for that. The names, ages, addresses, phone numbers, credit card details of up to 37 million people
Jesus fuck.
were revealed in a 9.7 gigabyte file called Time's Up. Bankers, civil servants, even Vatican employees
Oh no.
Not a shock.
have been outed by the hackers from the Impact team because they were considered cheating dirtbags.
Aren't these guys cheating?
That's your
Right.
call to make.
Right. As you're stealing information. I guess it's just,
So yeah, they Ashley Madison, of course, is coming out with, oh, this is a total breach and breaking the law, which
So
is
what?
which is true.
It's already out there though, right? Once the information is out there,
Yeah.
that's all. I mean, they can say it all they want,
You
but
can't put the toothpaste back in the tube,
no, you
right?
can't.
And Ashley Madison, of course, just like a lot of these people, their whole thing is anonymity. Like that's what they specialize in. This is totally up. It's like
It's Snapchat. When
Snapchat.
Snapchat was shown not to actually
yeah.
delete.
Does anybody? Are there still people out there that think they can actually have some sort of anonymity on the World Wide Web? It just doesn't exist.
Right.
Like
Kind of dovetails with the Jared story. Like, really? You're
Yeah.
doing this just recklessly. Everybody knows you can't delete anything.
Yeah.
I think
It's
there's
gonna
just
be there.
probably just
Because
some
nerds like him, nerds, will uncover it.
probably just
Mhm.
old people still that in their mind don't understand that they can't. I guess that's got to be it. The other people, I think, do it thinking maybe I'll get, maybe I'll do it best I can. But how can you not realize that in some capacity it could come back?
Yeah, that's what I'd be worried about. I think back when Ashley Madison launched, and I don't remember what year that was. I mean, it was
I can
a
remember
few
it,
years
though.
ago. Yeah,
I remember it being a big deal.
back then maybe if people said like that's what we do is keep your information secure, and it's like, oh, you wouldn't have known back then that wasn't possible.
2001.
2001.
Holy
yeah,
hell.
that's a long time ago.
Yeah, I could see those first few in the beginning there maybe thinking, oh shit, these guys were paying money. These guys say they can't get out. Now it'd be stupid to sign up thinking that it would never,
Yeah.
not just because of the breach, but just before
Yeah.
the breach.
Well, this British civil servant said that she was heartbroken after
Nice.
being named by hackers as an Ashley Madison user.
Hot.
The married woman said she must be the victim of a malicious enemy.
You're
Oh,
gonna hear
yeah.
that
Must
one a
be.
few times.
That reminds me of
of
there's something about Mary when Ben Stiller goes into the woods to
Yeah.
take a piss and trips over that guy. He's like, oh, I was just taking a piss. And then all the gay guys are like, oh, yeah, me too.
yeah,
Oh, just in here taking a whiz.
yeah. So that.
Yeah, tell it to the judge. The woman is among 130 British government workers named by hackers today. I'm heartbroken. I'm married, and I would never do something like this. It must be malicious.
I've got to be it.
I never knew I had any enemies. Another senior council worker said his ex-girlfriend broke up with him over Ashley Madison, but I never set it up. I didn't know what she was talking about. Now I do. I guess someone did that to me and signed up an account for me. One guy said he was
Sure,
married.
it happens. I'm sure people fuck with each other, but
Yeah.
that's just going to
But
be the
all
standard
of them,
line.
right?
One member said he's married, but was inquisitive about maybe meeting other women. I did sign up, but I never use the account. Ugh. I'm a bit annoyed, to be honest. I set it up with the intention of using it, but was unable to access it due to work restrictions.
That's a guy who doesn't have a very good understanding of women. You think that's going to go very far? That excuse? I just set it up. I never used it.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
set up an account with a cheating service.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
paid
sweet.
money. I think you have to pay money to get it going. I mean, so you paid money
Yeah, it's
for
not
the
a-
option to cheat.
It's not no free trial, probably.
You okay over there?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Yeah. You gonna pull up your brong? Or is that just for easy access?
What's going on?
Yeah,
God
dude,
damn it, we had guests.
3 days in a row, his fly has been wide open.
That's not even
I
true.
stopped telling him.
That can't even be possible because yesterday we were flat out pajama pants. So
The day before, though.
Okay,
It was the day before then. You're right. You
We had
wore
guests.
Christmas PJs last night for the show.
because
Thank
it's
you for that, by the
freezing
way.
down here.
It is, for the record, usually freezing.
Today is not
today
as
it's
bad.
not.
It was, and I'm not wearing them today. It was freezing yesterday.
Well, that's not why you were wearing Christmas PJs.
I had shorts when I walked in with the expectation of maybe not wearing pajama pants that day.
Yeah. This one politician is unhappy, said someone else may have set up this account. I'm divorced and single, so I'm not sure this site would be for me, even if I joined, which I haven't. If you Google me, you could find out all my information and make an account for me.
Every single person on this site can't just have, oh my, everyone's crazy. There's not one person on the site. I want someone to come out and just be like, yeah, I did it.
Wow, that's the single most boring sentence I ever heard.
I can think of about 500 sentences that are more boring, probably.
The majority of the 37 million users are married men. Among the email addresses are ones for the British and U.S. governments and armed forces, which is a real problem, dude. Infidelity in the military, that can be.
That happens?
Yeah.
I thought they were
but
all-
Why are you highlighting that as a real problem?
well, because that can get you dishonorably discharged.
Really?
Yeah. That's a serious problem in the military.
Today,
If you're fucking around on your spouse. What?
how serious do they look into that?
Well, they would have to if it's published on a Ashley
on this-
Madison
on-
website. I mean, yeah, do
on
people
this-
fuck around and get away with it? Sure they do.
okay, yeah,
but
this.
it's a serious that's a no bullshit offense if you're in the military. And yeah, U.S. governments, armed forces, companies like IBM, as well as the Catholic Church, universities including Harvard and Yale. There are around 15,000 .mil addresses, which is the U.S. military's address, or .gov addresses used by the U.S. government. 15,000 of them. The data released today appears to be genuine and exposes the infidelity of millions around the world. But they do say that it looks like some of these could be bullshit. One banker describes himself as having a sex drive too high to handle,
Yeah.
explaining that's why he's cheating on his wife.
Yeah, I got
I
one
need
of
someone
those
who is
too.
more sexual. I need someone who is willing to try anything. Yeah, and it goes through all that.
Well, there you go. I'm all right with that. A guy finally just saying, yeah, this is me.
I didn't know how this worked. I'm sure you don't either, Jay. Know how Ashley I've
No, I
never obviously I've never been married, so not that it would have mattered, but they say it's really pretty easy to use. It's free to join. New members are asked to provide a username and a blurred out picture. And if you don't have a blurred picture, they'll blur it for you.
God, that's not very helpful.
Yeah, why would you?
I think they unblurred at some point, maybe.
Maybe when you
Be
pay.
better. Users then select what they're looking for, ranging from cyber affair, erotic chat, or anything goes.
Oh.
Who's on there for a cyber affair?
Yeah, I wonder what percentage of dudes are just anything goes. 99%, right?
All
I'm
of
an
them.
anything goes guy. Oh, I'm just here for a cyber affair. What? Go to UJizz, my man.
I know.
Come on, go to Pornhub. You don't need to go to Ashley Madison and pay money monthly for a cyber affair. How lame. It's open to singles and married people. Men then pay in credits. The introductory package is like $45 for 100 credits, or you can pay $200 for an affair guarantee, which gives you 1,000 credits. God, this sounds so bad.
What if you don't get one in 1,000 credits? I wonder if you don't. If no one likes you.
Maybe they reimburse you your money.
There's
I don't
gotta
know.
be guys out there that are fat asses and shit, and they have 1,000 of their credits, and no chick is into
They
them.
burn through them, and there's nothing there. 5 credits buys them a message to another member. 30 gets you 30 minutes of live chats. Chicks don't have to pay. Chicks
That's
get in
good.
for free.
No,
of
that's
course.
good. That's good, dude. Honestly, if you're a guy, you want as many chicks on there. You don't want the chicks even paying, dude. Honestly, I think that's a solid plan.
It's the no cover.
Right,
kinda reason.
exactly. You
Yeah.
go to the club, guys have to pay 10, girls get in free. You want those fucking chicks in there, man. That's
Yeah.
the deal.
No, you guys are right, but it's just funny that even there, it's like, oh yeah, just let the chicks in. Every night is
yeah.
ladies' night.
Fuck yeah.
Impact Team, who's the wet blanket that exposed this. They say Ashley Madison members should not have anonymity because they are cheating dirtbags and deserve no such discretion. They ask for Established Men, which is another site that is owned by them, to be taken offline along with Ashley Madison. They did not make the same request of Cougar Life, which is also owned by them, and that's for chicks. So I don't know what that says. It sounds to me like someone is disgruntled, like maybe someone got fucked over, cheated on, and this is their way of fighting back. We have explained the fraud, deceit, and stupidity of ALM and their members. Now everyone gets to see their data. Keep in mind this site is a scam with lots of fake female profiles. Chances are your man signed up on the world's biggest affair site but never had one. He just tried to, if that distinction matters. The hacker said the consequences for victims was not our responsibility. Find yourself in here. It was ALM that failed you and lied to you. Prosecute them and claim damages, then move on with your life. Learn your lesson and make amends. Embarrassing now, but you'll get over it. I'm sorry. That sucks, man.
It's more than embarrassing, by the way, if you end up with a divorce because of it.
Yeah, divorce. I mean, the David Helms of the world got to be thrilled with this.
Oh, there's that.
Seriously, I mean, thank God he's running that special.
I need an attorney, and I need one now.
If David Helm was smart, he might cold call, just get on this list and start cold calling these people.
He's got like 1.5 million of them.
You just sit at the desk.
Dude, that's hilarious. Just go down the list. I mean, it's good. Just go on the dark web. I mean, they've got their phone numbers, their fantasies. You've got everything you need right there.
Right.
Just start cold calling.
Speaking of sponsors, this is the summertime special you've been waiting for. Only while supplies last, you can lease a 2015 Ford Escape SE for $159 for 24 months at Zott Ford in Holly. Yes, their sales staff is hotter than Big E's new robotic girlfriend, but this Escape deal is the hottest of them all. Again, just $159 for a Ford Escape. Surf their massive inventory and smoking deals at ZottFord.com.
Very good.
Not Ford.com.
Remember we were talking about that prep school?
Yeah, that whole steal the virginity thing, the contest they had going on.
Yeah, Owen Labry was his name, and allegedly raped this freshman. She was on the stand today and crying, all that stuff. The prosecutor said that he raped this 15-year-old girl on the roof. What?
Just how she was on a stand crying, and I know, but it's just like you just glossed over the fact of this 15-year-old.
You know what? I stopped myself in mid-thought because I was about to go, fuck her, she's full of shit, and then I realized she's a 15-year-old girl.
Oh, God.
And I realized even for me that sounded monstrous.
Gotcha.
So I kind of stumbled through that. Thank you for pointing that out, though. I'm glad you caught that and stopped it for us. See, that was
it is alleged, but I think we can be objective about it, right?
I think so. Yeah, I hope so. So he apparently raped her on this 15-year-old girl on the roof of the campus back in May of 2014 as part of the senior salute, right? We remember the senior salute. This took place at St. Paul's School in Concord, New Hampshire. She referred to the practice in which graduating boys try to take the virginity of younger girls before getting their diplomas as the context for the entire event. She's a petite student, ash blonde hair. They won't. I'd love to see a picture of her. Of course, she's underage, so they won't do that to her. So they're making her voice sound like this.
Oh God, 15-year-old girl.
Yeah, they're making her sound like this, and they won't show her. She said that she told jurors the two were not friends, but he was a classmate of her sister. And she said during her testimony that she thought his invitation to a senior salute was disgusting because he had written it so sappily.
Do we have an image of this guy?
Of him? Yeah. Which doesn't he look like two totally different people?
Yeah, dude. It's the same person?
Yeah. Isn't that weird? The one he looks like maybe a pro hockey player on the left.
The first one he doesn't have its glasses.
Yeah. And
Where
then
are my glasses?
He looks like he's in the Harry Potter play.
Yes.
At school, doesn't he?
Totally. That's what I thought.
Yeah, it looks like E a little bit, honestly.
Like if you said that's the new right winger for the Chicago Blackhawks on the left.
He doesn't look that.
I think he does. Doesn't he look like he could play on like a junior hockey team?
I think you're giving him too much credit, Mike.
No, his hair's not long enough.
That's what I agree with Mike. When I see that, it looks like a hockey player to me. Not any other sport. I wouldn't even say any other sport.
No, it's exclusive to hockey for some reason.
I don't think it's worth splitting hairs.
Those are nice hairs, by the way.
Those, thick locks.
So she says, I thought his intentions were really wrong, but claimed that to reconsider after being persuaded by a male friend. So she was kind of talked into it, like, you should go for it. He's a senior. It's, it is a senior salute.
That's
so
brutal.
The victim said that the senior salute was well known on campus, but she didn't think there were any expectations involved. Right there, I'm going, wait a minute. if it's well known, the senior salute, that everybody knows what it is, but you didn't think there was any.
Well, maybe this dude who talked her into it was like, you can back out if you want. You don't have to go through with it.
Yeah, maybe.
Who knows? Why are you so suspicious of victims all the time, Mike? All the time.
That's a fair question. Because you know what it is, Jay? I think the problem is when I think of rape, I think of Cosby. I think of someone grabbing someone out of the bushes, and maybe that's my fault.
Mike, that is such an archaic view of rape.
Well, so be it. But and the other problem is I always see the texting that goes on before and after these events, and I'm going, yeah, this sounds like buyer's remorse. I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
It does. And I think this couple, not a couple, but these two kids, granted he's 18 or 19 now, or it was 18 at the time, a graduating senior, but this would absolutely fall under the Romeo and Juliet laws.
You've been there though as a senior, and you remember that whole scenario. There's a difference in quote unquote power in that situation. You remember how that goes.
Yeah, but I never preyed on.
I'm not saying you did, but you remember that whole dynamic.
Sure.
And you could see a young girl not wanting to, but kind of giggling her way through it, going, oh, fuck.
Yeah. Well, she claimed she didn't expect to have intercourse. The defense lawyer said he will testify that they had consensual sexual contact with the girl, but they did not have intercourse. Email and Facebook exchanges between the two will show that the girl met Labrie, who was 18 at the time, willingly and bantered with him after their encounter. The messages were mutually romantic and flirtatious and occasionally written in French. Ugh. Carney, the attorney for him, minimized the senior salute element read to jurors from a string of emails between the two. But right before their encounter, in them, the girl agreed to meet him only if it's our little secret. And he said, I won't tell a soul except every person I know. I mean, what's he going to say to that? Only if it's our little secret. That does say how naive she is. Whatever gets you here naked in front of me. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, just between us.
I won't tell a soul. I promise. And then afterwards, he texted her like, that was great or something. And she said, you're not so bad yourself. I also lost my earring up there. And then the attorney was like, does this sound like the texting where she is unwilling that night? The girl is going to testify that the two had removed some clothing and were kissing when he became more aggressive. The girl said no and held onto her underwear with both hands to try to stop him, but he forced herself on her. He became very aggressive very fast. He pulled her bra down. He bit her titty, and it was painful.
She's a titty.
Yeah, seems kind of odd. She's a 15-year-old girl
who
without
was doing
experience.
that? Somebody famous was doing. Was it Marv Albert?
I think he was biting asses.
Yeah.
Biting titties.
Yeah. I thought it was asses.
Yes.
That whole story, dude.
He was wearing panties. Too.
Yes.
He was wearing women's panties.
He answers the door in panties and then
Yeah.
proceeds to just start biting this chick's ass.
And his career rocks on now.
Yeah.
It's so weird how he made a comeback from that.
That is the biggest funny thing to me is that that happened. We all were like, are we ever here? Yes, again.
And that was a long time ago
right.
too.
Yeah, that was
like
in
kind
the
of
late 90s.
before the forgive everything.
The more you think about it, to me, the more what's he on TNT or it's a TNT or what?
Yeah,
I don't know.
Calling NBA
How
basketball.
do we take this guy seriously?
Right, I still think about it. I swear to God,
black lace panties? I remember. I think they were black lace
Yes,
panties
they
that he was
were.
wearing, and it's like
every time
with garters on.
Just picture that
Yes.
guy in like
Yes.
male undergarments. Number one, how goofy he would look, right?
Yeah, no,
Little
thank you.
chicks and legs just standing there.
Little chicks and legs. Look at those proof.
You throw him in black lace panties. That guy.
Yes.
Dude, I swear, I still to this day when I see him do a game, like I like that he does it because I actually like him calling games, but I always think of it. Always.
Yeah.
That's all I think about.
Just check him out, man. Oh, there's the mug shot.
What does that say? Is that just pure power and money? Is that how people get there?
How does he get back from that?
No. How does he get to that point? Is it something where that guy was probably a nerd his whole life, and now all of a sudden he's that Marv Albert? He's in Manhattan and he's working for the NBA, the biggest league, this giant pro sports league. He's the voice of the games.
Oh yeah,
and now he's getting paid out the ass. All of a sudden he's got access to shit he didn't have access to before.
Dude,
Yeah, I think it is. But if I remember correctly, the victim was a fairly long acquaintance of his, like a girlfriend for a long time. It wasn't like he was just buying these chicks or picking them up on the street. It was somebody he knew for a long time. So I don't know if that really fits that narrative, but yeah, I think to an extent.
That was in 97. I didn't remember what year it was. Dude, Jordan, what didn't Jordan's last, like of the last three-peat, wasn't that 98? I thought, maybe I'm wrong, but it just seems like that's right in that run when he would have been on NBA and NBC and the Bulls.
Maybe I tuned out of the NBA in that time.
Oh,
frame.
I loved it,
was
man.
Like, fuck Jordan.
Yeah. I was still paying attention, not like crazy, but that was a huge story.
It was.
That was before the internet was everywhere, though. That was kind of the internet in its infancy.
Mm-hmm.
So it doesn't become global news, not as quickly, anyways.
Yeah,
that happens now, and it's within an hour. It's around the world. So anyway, back to this this guy and this girl. So apparently he had a key to the roof, which is how they got up to the roof. And remember, they would write on the wall like check marks for guys, and the school kept painting over it.
Mm-hmm.
And they're saying, "Oh, this isn't right. This is not something we condone here at this school, and we're above that." But it sounds like they knew it. So and then the key would get passed down.
Yeah, from class to class.
Yeah, from class to class, exactly. So this kid they would all bang their chicks, and then they would give it to the juniors, and then it would just live on. It would keep getting passed down. So this potentially could have gone on for decades.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they don't know, but I don't hear anybody acting like this is a problem for other people. It's just this instant here.
This one guy, you mean?
Yeah.
Well, it sounds like.
Are they outraged at the idea that he banged an underage girl, or?
I don't know if he just got caught and they had enough evidence. He admitted all this shit. I think was what was remarkable, right? When they took him in, he kind of let loose on the whole thing.
Yeah.
Told the whole story about it.
Yeah, and was saying that he wanted to be the top guy. Remember?
Yeah. Tool bag.
Yeah. But he was also saying though that he thought it was a bad thing, and he'd hoped that the school had, I mean, just total bullshit.
Yeah, he claimed that instance he had like a divine moment, right?
Mm-hmm.
He was like, "Oh, this is wrong."
As if.
Yeah.
I mean, he's trying to be the tops in the class with banging the most underage girls. That's so funny, man, because I remember when we were at that age, you didn't want to bang a freshman.
Mm-mm.
Like, you didn't want to hang out with freshmen. I'm not saying that the occasional freshman didn't slip into a party or something, but
yeah, that culture of like completely preying on them, no, that wasn't there.
Yeah. So I wonder if they'll go after other kids, or if other girls will come forward going, "Oh yeah, I had 3 guys bang me," or
yeah. Well, they're in the middle of trial right now. I'm sure this has been leading up to this point for a long time, and it hasn't been in the news. At least on our radar. So they've probably been investigating other people for a while now.
Don't you think this sort of stuff goes on?
Sure.
All over. And some people
maybe not like an open contest with tick marks behind a washer and dryer to keep score, but
yeah.
Some people generally guys prey on younger girls.
Some people were claiming that possibly this dates back to like 1971 when they first admitted girls into this school, which I guess was a big deal at the time. It was like, we'll show them.
Yeah.
And so this kind of behavior has been going on. But it sounds like the school was well aware of it, and I don't know what you do about it anyways. I mean, you're not going to stop young people from having sex. It's not going to happen. I guess you could have a security guard on the roof. They've certainly got the money. Anyway.
Hey, summer will be over before we know it. Let Krista Jelski of Remax Suburban sell your home while the market's still hot. Krista will handle all the details so you can enjoy the summer weather while it lasts. Check out Krista's website at KristaSellsHouses.com or call her anytime at 586-918-0900.
We got a court clerk, Jay, that claims she was forced to perform sex acts on a judge.
Whoa.
For 5 years.
Whew.
You've worked for a judge.
Yep.
Not that he forced you to perform any sex acts on him.
No.
Can you see how that would be possible? Like, whenever I think of a court, or I think of it as so tightly wound and professional that I don't know how you would even, I mean, is that naive?
Well, this isn't a judge's clerk. This is a court clerk, right? Like that's not his specific. It's not his specific clerk. So there's a little bit of a difference there. Like a judge will have a team that works with him, like a secretary or administrative assistant, clerks that just work for him. Depends on what level the judge is, whether that's the case. But then there's a court clerk who like takes in filings and things and handles administratively more than just a single judge. So it sounds like this is involving that broader role clerk.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I mean, it's like any other workplace. People
get away with what they can.
I wouldn't say that about the judiciary.
Yeah.
But in terms of lower level people working in a court, they're
like anybody else. Yeah. That's fair. That makes sense. Martha Kibler is her name and said that Justice of the Peace Russ Casey. Russell.
Russ? Yeah. Oh, there you are.
Physically abused her on a regular basis, often while he was wearing his judicial robe.
Oh,
Awesome.
No. He just opened it up, and there he is, just nude.
Yep.
Just a rager right underneath there.
Rager in all its glory behind the black robe.
Picture that. He's got his collar and his tie and everything, and he just opens the bottom.
The son of a bitch. This Texas mother says she turned over evidence, including a semen-stained dress.
Oh,
he didn't have that little bit of jizz in him today.
Yeah, apparently he was taking a page out of the old Bill Clinton book, right?
Yeah, really. If we learned nothing from Monica, I mean, geez, you gotta clean that shit.
She started working for Casey in 2007, and the abuse began in December of 2009 and lasted until 2014. I don't want to blame the victim here, but come on,
Mike. People are manipulated. He never sides with the victim. Now, granted, this is a complaint we're reading from.
Absolutely.
So we haven't heard the judge's side of the story. All we have is a complaint.
So she apparently went into his office to repay a small personal loan that he gave her. And then Judge Casey leaned back in his chair, unzipped his pants, and exposed his panus.
Good move.
There you go. You can repay me right there.
Yeah. He demanded she perform a sex act. I think we know which one.
That'd be fellatio.
It would. After Kibler said no and that she could not do that, he responded that he was good to her. I've loaned you money. I've kept you employed. And thus, she'd better return the favor. And she did. Like the way this guy operates. Like the way this guy runs an office.
Yeah, I don't see anything negative here so far.
So far, so good. It's all on the up and up.
Ease sarcasm. Here we go. We're going to have 10 minutes of ease sarcasm.
That was the first of the regular assaults over 5 years. She claims while in the office, he allegedly mocked and insulted her in front of other employees. From December 2009 to August of 2014, she was forced to perform oral sex on Judge Casey at least 20 times. In all instances, the only reason Kibler would engage in oral sex was because Judge Casey either expressly or impliedly threatened to terminate her employment if she did not perform sexual favors that he demanded. He tried to have sex with her on 3 different occasions. One time he was unable to perform. However, the other 2 times.
Oh, that's a shot.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's a shot.
Yeah.
You might as well throw that in there. I love that.
Is that one of those where you're hoping he comes back? Bullshit. Never. No. The Mike Brady in the briefcase moment.
When'd you stop beating your wife kind of question.
Exactly. I like the way where they're going with it.
That was nicely done.
Yeah, we tried to bang 3 times, but he couldn't get it up.
Yeah.
So, and he's just got to sit there and bite his lip.
Always get it off. Always.
God damn, what? Give me 2 seconds. I'll get that fucker rock right now. Rock.
Well, your cock is huge. It's massive. I'm in awe of your cock.
She never kissed him on the lips. Never interacted with the judge on a personal level. Never talked to Judge Casey outside of work. She was terrified of Judge Casey and the power he wielded. Kibler witnessed the judge to be as he harassed other female clerks working under him. Casey would predominantly hire very young and attractive females to work with him in his court. That's a great move. I highly recommend that.
Yeah.
You want to keep it light in the office.
Oh, yeah. You don't want a bunch of dudes there.
No.
Hot young girls.
Hot young talent walking around the office. I think we can all agree,
Keeps
right?
morale up.
Absolutely. Gives you a little eye candy. Who else are you going to go, hey, nice ass, toots, and give a little pat as they go by? I mean, that's
Look at that, Proops.
Yeah, it's the way you run an office. This is par for the course. I like the way this guy operates. So he asked the judge to stop sexually harassing her coworkers and he would retaliate harshly whenever she complained by yelling at her, forcing her to do more sexual favors.
Does she allege anywhere that she would rather have been raped in the ass than the mouth?
You know what? I was hoping they would bring that up, but no, I didn't. I didn't see anything.
Didn't broach that subject.
Clearly, I'm reading between lines here, and I don't mean to put words in her mouth, but I definitely get the impression that she'd rather take it in the mouth than the ass. That's just my personal opinion. As proof, she also brought in this dress and blouse that she owned, which possessed Judge Casey's dried seminal fluid from her most recent act of performing oral sex on Judge Casey. Yeah. She claims she went to Human Resources twice, and they didn't do shit. They were like, yeah, well, he's an elected official. There's really not shit we can do about it. Sorry.
Oh, God.
There's not shit we can do.
She claims she reported basically a rape, and they did nothing.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Do you believe that? Me either, Jay. Me either. So vile was the act of performing oral sex on Judge Casey, she would often vomit minutes after the act.
Well, because it's so nasty to have some dude's dick in your face, right?
Well,
better than the ass.
Agreed. She distinctly remembers the smell of urine in and around his genital area.
See, there you go. That's just another great thing you get to enjoy, Mike, as that's happening to you.
Well, don't you think she's just saying that just to bum him
that's
up?
just piling on?
Yeah,
totally. I can't get it up. His dick reeks of urine.
Yeah, come on.
Come on.
Again,
he can't respond.
Right.
I mean, if he's going to go with she's out of her mind. She's crazy.
I clean my genitals every day.
Where's she going to go next? Is grooming? Did she say anything about the grooming?
It's an out of control, unkempt bush.
Just billowing forth.
Billowing. On at least one occasion, Judge Casey demanded oral sex from Kibler and then got furious with her when he couldn't become aroused.
Oh.
So again,
kind of on her at that point.
She was the sole provider for her family. And feared repercussions if she took a stand. Not only did Casey demand sexual intercourse and oral, but he only demanded these acts during work hours at office locations.
I like that it's like, and not only was he demanding it, but it was only on work hours. Now, maybe if you're off the clock, then it'd be.
Took me to dinner. We had some drinks, and then I blew him. In December 2013, her only son died. And that's when she claims she tried to sever ties with Casey as she feared her son was watching from heaven.
Oh, well.
He refused to take no for an answer. Soon after, Casey's office launched an investigation into her, accusing her of stealing money.
Seems like there's some details that are not yet out.
I think we're only getting one half of this.
It does sound that way.
Yeah. Worry was that her dead son was watching from heaven.
Yeah, I could see, if you're a religious person, I could see you worrying about that. No, I could see someone making that claim.
Sure.
No,
sounds good to throw into a complaint. Sure.
Yeah, it definitely sounds good for a complaint. I mean, I'm also not religious. My dad's
another layer of drama.
Right.
Yeah.
Hey, we got to mention the Amazon link. Please use it at DetroitCast.com. You'll find a link that'll take you to Amazon, and you can shop as you normally do. And it's a great way to donate to the show because they give us a little bit of a kickback on whatever you buy. They won't charge anymore, so please use it.
Should we just get to email?
We do have some email, Mike.
Do we? We're gonna not do a lot of stories tonight, but sorry.
I haven't had the greatest opportunity to review and I will have to say this as well. We are being inundated by boner pill email spam.
Why?
So if I'm missing, like if somebody's emailing me specifically or the show specifically with like requests or something and I'm not getting back to you, please resend it because they're just getting like buried in like 5 different boner pill things, and I'll find one that's relevant, then like 8 different boner pills. Did you order something, Mike?
I did not. I did nothing of the sort. What do you mean boner pills? Just like mail
Viagra
order?
and all the bullshit spam you see. Like get rock hard, rocker world, all this shit.
I bet Young McCard could do something about that. Couldn't
It did. You know what's interesting? It kind of started when Young McCard started with us.
It's because there's nobody swatting away the individual emails any longer, Jay. That was what was happening before. It was like a baseball bat.
So can we
or
do
a
that?
Tennis racket. No, I don't have time.
Okay.
Do we need emotions to let us know what a tennis racket looks like?
I just feel like it's important that everybody gets what I'm talking about.
I think we've all seen a game of tennis before.
Match, if you will.
Yes.
Oh boy. Yeah, so John writes in, greetings to the podcast hero, the lawyer, and the guy with more dead semen spread all over his parents' basement than there are on the bottom of Pearl Harbor.
There's a lot of dead semen on the bottom of Pearl Harbor.
Semen, dude.
Oh, semen. Oh, I gotcha.
I'm writing you to introduce my baby Proops, Traveler, and to ask you a question about his name. I like Big E. I'm a bit of a history nerd about the Civil War, and so Traveler is named after... E?
I don't know Traveler, man.
Come on, man.
No
idea?
Nah.
It is General Robert E. Lee's horse.
Lee's horse, yeah.
Oh, I'm glad Mike knew that right off the top of his head. That actually does bum me out. I can't believe I didn't know that.
Look at that, Proops.
Look at that majestic Proops.
Look at that, Poops. I bet you can leave stuff on the counter and that Proops doesn't eat it.
He's got something in his mouth.
He's a beautiful dude. That's a hunting dog, man.
Yeah.
That dog needs to hunt.
I want to pet that Proops.
So basically, he's named after a Confederate horse. I named him about a month before all the bullshit over the Confederate flag. So now I'm wondering if naming him after General Lee's horse makes me look like a racist, or does it make it any better because my dog is black?
Dude, I gotta be honest. Like, unless you tell people that's where that name comes from, probably 95 to higher % are not going to know that you're named it after General Lee's horse. Now, everyone on the Detroit Cast listeners, I guess, knows now, but
well, just the name General Lee.
No, but that's not what his name is. It's just Traveler.
It's Traveler.
Yeah.
So who would ever think that's what that was from? Nah, there'd be probably some.
Now, is the fact that he's black just a poke in the eye?
I mean, it's kind of a shot, right?
Well, yeah, no, I don't know if that helps at all.
No.
I
like where she's going with that. He. I like where he's going with that.
Pick one of the northerner general sources.
I like leaning on that and saying that I've got a black son.
Yeah.
Pants.
That's pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah.
The original Traveler looked to have some black on him as well. So I think it's legit.
Fitting.
It's good.
Okay. All right. So we endorse this choice by Jonathan.
Absolutely. I'd go with General Lee. Let's go all in.
All in.
Yeah.
We're not going to mask it with a horse name.
Yeah.
We're going with the general himself.
Yeah. I would.
Okay.
Personal. That's just me.
All right, Jonathan, you got to change his name per Mike.
General Lee.
That's it, gents. Keep up the great work, and I can't wait to attend the Mike Massey Decast Extravaganza in October.
Can't either. That's going to be a lot of fun.
October 22nd, he will be on the show, and October 23rd, he will be appearing live, and we hope that many of you come to said show. So please hold that date.
Yeah, hold the date. We haven't announced where yet. We still got a little ways to go. So
yep.
But we have finalized with him, so that's a
it's a go.
That's a done deal. He will be in town.
10/23, be there. Brian writes in, "What's up, cock knockers? So I sit here in my hotel room drunk on cold Coors Light and Woodford, and I again feel compelled to write. First, the whole sports handshake thing. I've been all over this for years. Here's how I see it. So we played that Wake Forest football player just going through like 70 different handshakes. Brian says, here's how I see it. There are just giant kids with an elaborate system of secret handshakes. We've all had a secret handshake, whether it's the white guy 3-part handshake, a knuckle thumb over the top joint puff drop, stomp a slide me some skin, a thumb up pull in bro hug, or whatever. We've all had them.
Yep.
Why don't we still have them? Because you can't go into a boardroom and up high down low around the world heel shake your CIO.
That's a shame.
I'm not going to belabor this, but you see where I'm going. Next, and I'm not sure how this is going to come across, but I got to say something. There's a tone, a quote unquote tone, ringing with your Facebook friends. Naturally, we all see the hypocrisy and the racial tension today, and naturally, we all want to point out the fact that white lives matter is an equivalent statement. But I've read some shit in Facebook posts from, quote, familiar fans that simply isn't constructive. Not that we're trying to build bridges here, but is the Detroit Cast Facebook fan page really where we want to escalate the race war? Get it together, fuckers. We're better than that, or at least we should be. Love you guys. Keep up the good work, Brian.
Yeah, I think people want to be funny. I think that's pretty common. I know what he's talking about. And
what's he talking about, Mike?
Well, he's talking about people going over the line with racist comments and jokes and
on the book.
On the book, yes. And I just worry, like, it's one thing like on a show, you know, where we don't have to really answer to anybody doing stuff like that. But I think for and I think we don't tend to get too racist, right? Is that a crazy thing to say?
I don't think racist at all.
Yeah.
So at all.
Yes, not racist at all.
Well, that might
There's
be
some stereotypes.
Well, he my brother. I mean, they're exactly. There's some stereotypes, but overt racism, no. But what are we going to do about it if people go and try to play the one-ups-me game, where they're trying to make each other laugh?
Yeah,
it
happens. Boys will be boys.
Boys will be boys.
So I've heard. Jim writes in.
We don't condone any of it, though.
For the record, hey King, the rock star singer and goofy tard. Next year, you need to embrace Woodward Dream Cruise. You have close to 2 million people standing by waiting for Big E riding on the driving Detroit Cast billboard, which you can rent with speakers, playing clean show samples with video. Big E can hand out flyers and Detroit Cast swag.
I like that idea.
Does seem like a no-brainer. Although you were at NASCAR this
You
time,
know
right?
what? If next year this is still going, I mean, I've gone NASCAR every year for that would be 16 years. I would miss it if we felt like that was something we could do.
Hasn't NASCAR kind of run its course with you though? I feel like you
that's the
came
thing.
back really, really frustrated this year.
That's the
Didn't
thing.
even watch the race Sunday.
I didn't even go Sunday. That was
Yeah.
the first time since I was 14 that I didn't go to a race. So, yeah, I guess I could
Ride a billboard?
Right.
You'd be up for that, right?
Yeah, I'll do it. If we're here next year, I'll do it.
Whoa, if we're here next year.
Yeah.
I could be dead. I don't know.
Hopefully. Fingers crossed,
Fingers
right?
crossed, exactly. Maybe one of these days I won't wake up and my prayers will be answered.
My God, that was just.
I kind of agree with him. I can't rag on him for that.
Jeremiah writes in, hello, lawyer, David Koresh Jr. and knee taker. Okay, get the nerd drop
Wait.
ready. What?
Which one am I?
You're David Koresh Jr.
That's bullshit.
You're a fucking cult leader, man.
Okay.
He's one of the best.
Yeah.
Embrace your heritage.
You only take Jim Jones. That's it. That's all you'll accept.
I like what Jim Jones was doing. I like
He's certainly the best cult leader, Jim Jones.
He really was highly effective. What about the guy with the Hail Bop Comet? Remember those guys?
Yes.
Yeah.
They were like, hey, everybody, throw on your black Nikes and lay down in bunk beds. We're all going Hail Bop.
Yeah.
Remember that shit?
Was that the punch?
Applewhite, I think was his last name.
No,
Marshall Applewhite. Wasn't it?
Maybe. I don't remember.
Hail Bop's when they had or did they do a lot of involved punch? I thought Hail Bop was the punch too, though. They all took a sip of the poison punch and
No. That was Jim Jones.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that was
My
Drink
bad.
the Kool-Aid. That's
Oh,
where that
okay.
came from. But they might have done some sort of punch or something with the
Well,
Hail
I
Bop.
bet a lot of them do in the end. I mean,
Have you seen
I think
video
most
from
people
that?
choose punch for their last drink.
Absolutely. They couldn't
As-
pull that off.
as
with
they
water.
should. As
Not
they
a
should.
chance.
way over one?
Have you seen the video, like detailed video from Jim Jones?
Oh, dude.
It's brutal.
Yeah.
Crazy. Like people running into the woods.
Or just falling dead.
Oh, I've not seen anybody running. I've just seen like the
Bodies of
aftermath of
mothers and their
first they killed a
kids.
bunch of reporters that were trying to report on this thing.
Yeah.
They didn't want them
Trying to
going
get back to the
home. Yeah.
helicopter. Yep.
God, dude, that was
Wasn't there like a senator or something too, or a U.S. congressman or
Oh, I don't
something that
know
was
about that.
gunned down? That tried to go
it
there.
was somebody like from CNN or something. I think like
Yeah,
a
maybe.
major reporter that was killed. Or
crazy.
Yeah, Mickey, what do you got on Hail Bop?
And the kids crying. The kids crying and mothers, just quiet your babies. Quiet your babies.
Yeah.
It'll be over soon.
Well, and
It'll
a
be
lot of
over
the
soon.
footage that you saw in the days preceding that were people like, yeah, I want to go home. This
Yeah.
isn't right. I want
This
to go
isn't what
home.
I signed up for.
Yeah, I miss my family, this and that. And then all of a sudden,
Heaven's
Dead.
Gate. Was that what it was?
Heaven's Gate,
A
yeah.
UFO religious group based in San Diego, California.
what was the guy's name?
Marshall Applewhite.
Yeah.
Nice, dude.
Remember that son of a bitch? You can just picture him staring crazily into the
Yes,
camera.
that I remember for
A
sure.
39-person
Yeah.
suicide.
So, you know,
So
it's-
not as good.
No.
Not quite as
Does it-
impressive.
This is kind of a startup.
Does it say that they drink punch, or does it not say that far?
They wore black Nikes. I remember that.
Really?
Yeah,
Dude.
they all had these.
And they sang Hail Bop. Hail Bop. Hail Bop.
Yeah.
Dude,
they did.
Yeah.
You're-
Yeah.
That
Dug that
face,
song.
though, dude, you're right. That to me it was almost. I mean, it was as evil
Eerie,
as
right?
it looked like
Eerie and strange.
Yeah, dude, that was creepy as fuck to me. I remember.
You
that.
know, if Kadog was here, he'd have Bop playing right now.
Probably.
Well, I was
saying.
reading about your flippin' cult leader
or a picture
and looking how they killed themselves because I thought that was
And?
relevant.
That is what I wanted. To know.
Phenobarbital mixed with applesauce washed down with vodka.
Well, this
Additionally, just wait, there's more.
With a vodka chaser.
Additionally, they secured plastic bags around their heads after ingesting the mix to induce asphyxiation.
Just
Nice.
in case, right?
They rented out a 9,200 square foot building
What about, dude, they were in a mansion, weren't they?
in a
Like
gated community of
yeah.
upscale homes.
Dude,
what about the
wow.
black Nikes?
dude, looking at it now, by the way,
Look
just
at him.
dude. Honestly, I just got goosebumps. I'm not kidding. Just looking, that looks
Yeah.
evil as fuck. Not even evil though,
That's
really. Just,
Dr. Evil type shit.
like those eyes.
I don't know. I kind of see like a movie character in that. I don't see him as like
I don't
crazy evil.
I don't know, man. When I looked at it personally,
Yeah,
I got
gives you
goosebumps. looking at
goosebumps.
it.
Black Nikes.
Yeah,
They
right
all
there.
wore Nike Decades.
I remember all this
So
stuff.
bizarre.
And armband patches reading Heaven's Gate away team.
I remember that.
Wow.
Away team.
I remember that.
Shit.
They
They're
were
all
boarding
gonna-
the Comet, Jay.
Oh yeah. Well, they're on there
Hopping
right
on.
now. You
They're
know,
up there,
sort of like
right?
the Great Space Coaster on a comet.
Yeah.
Fucking awesome. Good for them.
It's thousands of years long.
Okay, the nerd drop already, says Jeremiah. Get it ready. If you had read the comics, you would know that Batman possesses a set of files, procedures, if you will, that will defeat any one of the Justice League members should they decide to go rogue. So this
Holy
obviously goes to how the fuck is Batman going to beat Superman? McCard?
I've heard this. I heard this today from somebody at work they were talking about, this Batman versus Superman, and they were a fan of Batman, and I'm the exact same thing comes to mind. What could he possibly do with these files? What could it say?
Well, maybe it's got
get
the
some
answer.
kryptonite. That's the only thing for Superman.
Well,
it's kryptonite.
that's all we know about. Maybe there's something else.
This is getting nerdy.
Yeah, I don't have the answer. I don't know what the files mean.
Like
What
it
does the
wasn't
files
nerdy
mean?
before.
I know.
We're sitting in Mike's basement, right? This wasn't nerdy before.
Right.
Now
Did-
it's nerdy.
What do they
We've
mean?
crossed the line.
Do they mean nail files? What kind of files
No,
are we
I think
talking about?
files, like paper files, like with important business documents, that
Okay.
sort of thing.
Like you keep them in a file cabinet.
Files with information.
Wow.
Useful
Okay.
information, apparently,
All
according to Jeremiah. Alex writes in, hey guys, kids these days seem to really like watching others play games online. We talked about this, how this new generation, they have no problem sitting there. Like I said, my kids will do it. They'll sit on the couch and watch each other. And it's not just, I'm waiting for my turn. It's like, I want to see how he plays this. It's bizarre.
That is way bizarre.
So Alex says, I don't know what it is about it, but it brought to mind a quick anecdote from a while back. My brother had just picked up the new, at the time, Batman Arkham City game.
Yep.
And
I have it.
And was starting into it. When our little brother walked in and started watching him play, as brother 1 is playing, brother 2 says, hey, did you know the Joker dies at the end? Brother 1 pauses and says, what the fuck, dude? No, I just started playing. Luckily for brother 2, brother 1 brushed it off thinking he was kidding or heard a rumor about the end and eventually forgot about it. Well, it was true because brother 2 likes to watch YouTube videos of said game and other games. Games which he does not own. It's weird, I tell you. Back in my day, the only reason we watched others play is because we were taking turns and hoping the other would die a quick death so possession of the controller would come back to you. As always, keep up the stellar work. Goodbye, Alex.
Very good.
Save the rest for tomorrow, Mike.
All right.
We've
sounds
gone a bit
good.
long.
We have. So, let's call it a day for a Thursday. Hopefully, some of you will go head over to Ridley's Comedy Castle in Royal Oak and check out J. Chris Newberg. Thanks to him and his buddies for coming by tonight. That was a lot of fun. And if you can make your way, well, we can talk about it tomorrow because we'll be out there Saturday. But J. Chris Newberg will be there tonight, Friday night, and Saturday night for 2 shows. And those shows are selling quickly. So if you're interested, get your tickets. And with that, we'll call it a day for a Thursday. We'll see you guys tomorrow for an all-new Friday edition.
You've been listening to the Detroit Cast with your hosts, Mike and Jay. From all of us at Radio for One Studios, thank you for listening. And as always, thank you, Detroit.
Listen to that